Well, same time, same place, next year. It's McKinney High and McKinney North High at the Crosstown Showdown in Brandon Helms. This ought to be a magnificent game. Last year, McKinney won this football game 42-28. 3 costly turnovers, or actually mistakes on the special teams by McKinney North. McKinney took advantage of them, scored 16 points off of those. And that basically was the difference in this football game.
Well, and that's why McKinney North comes in here with the great optimism for this game, and not only for the game but for the season. But right now, the game is the focus of pretty much everyone in McKinney right now. And they come in. Last year, they had a great offense. They couldn't do anything else, basically. They had trouble in special teams, trouble on defense. But this year, they come in with a revamped D that, while not putting up blazing numbers, has done its job, and a special teams that has been solid. And that's why they come into this game with hope that, hey, last year they won the inaugural Crosstown Showdown, did McKinney, but North fans and the North team is saying, you know what, it's not going to be so easy this year.
We talked about it a little bit earlier in the week. I don't know if you had a chance to read McKinneysports.net, but if you were out there, they asked me to do a column for them. I did. I told them, I basically made the statement that McKinney is a little bit weaker than they were last year, and McKinney North is a little bit better than they were last year, and that means somewhere they're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen tonight. These two teams are so even as far as talent-wise on the football field, the offense versus the defense on both sides of the ball. I really think that this should be one of the classics of all time here in McKinney.
Well, what's making this game really hard to judge is, last year, if you look at McKinney versus what they did, 1 year ago, they do look weaker, but let's face it, they played 2 tough teams on the road and end up losing in what were semi-close games, and then they lost to Wiley at home, but there's no telling how good Wiley is. So if you look at just pure numbers and facts and figures, it might look that way. However, they went out on the road, their first district game, won 28-10 against Justin Northwest, who was 2-1, so they proved that, the non-district, they played a tough one, and at the same time, North has played not as tough, but at least a semi-strenuous non-district schedule, and then they went out and they won their first district game. And so for the first time in the brief series, be that as it may, both teams are coming in with 1-0 district records, but it's North who's got the 3-1 record and McKinney who's got the 1-3 record, so it's kind of in a reverse situation as to what it could have been.
This is an absolute crazy place to be at right now. We're expecting 9,000 people to show up. Right now it's just about capacity. We understand that they were charging admission to park $10 down the road, and I think Teddy Sappho has some information more about this stadium, as the stadium's going to get an upgrade. Teddy?
Yeah, you're right, Monty. The stadium is going to get a brand new upgrade because of the fact that McKinney School Board recently, this week, approved $4.38 million to be used to renovate McKinney ISD Stadium. I apologize for the band. The band is just passing me by right now. But the visitor side right now actually has more seats than the home side, because a few decades ago that used to be the home side, but it's since then switched. But the new renovation will include 336 brand new seats for the home side, thus boosting the overall seating capacity in the stadium to 6,816. Also, too, the brand new construction will bring both the student sections and the band sections together. Also, there'll be brand new concession stands, new bathrooms, while also old bathrooms will be renovated as well. And also in the exterior of the stadium, there's going to be brand new built.
Yeah, hey, Teddy.
Uh-huh.
That's what we want to know about. Blah, 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 everything else. Let's talk about the new press box.
Well, the new press box is going to have 3 levels, Monty. The first deck is going to be an open air film deck, so the games can be recorded. And for us, for the second and third levels, there's going to be a TV and radio deck as well, so we can have a better side of the field and broadcast the games.
Thanks a lot, Teddy. And Teddy, talk about the we had a little rain last year. What's it like tonight?
Well, yeah, it's just because last year there was a little bit of rain at this game, but this year it's clear. It's about 78 degrees right now. There's a slight breeze coming in from the south, but weather shouldn't be a factor. We should expect a good one tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy Sappho. Down on the sidelines, Brandon, this will absolutely, I really feel it. The crowd is absolutely going crazy down here. One side is a sea of gold. On the near side, McKinney actually is the home team tonight. McKinney North, the far side. And if you look across to that eastern or western horizon over there, it's a beautiful sunset but actually it's the orange on the far sideline that bleeds over that sunset. McKinney North really came out in their orange, didn't they?
Well, the odd thing is like Teddy said, that used to be the visitor side. So in theory, there's going to be more North fans, although I guarantee you there's going to be seating room only on both sides. So it'll probably be a wash in the end. But let me tell you, if there's a sideline you want to be on right now, it's probably the visitor side, just because it's got the bigger capacity, and so it kind of diminishes what could be a home field advantage. But once you factor in just how many people are going to be here for both sides screaming across, it's going to be a wash, and this is basically a neutral site field for both sides.
It really is. A lot of these teams have, I asked some of the guys last year if they'd even ever been on the other side of the field before, and some of them had not. They've never been in the visiting dressing room. They've never been on the other side of the field during a game. So a lot of it's a new experience for some of these kids. We are in for a classic crosstown showdown. We have a kickoff in about 25 minutes. But right now, we're going to take a quick commercial timeout. You'll come back and you'll hear the quarterbacks. You don't want to miss this one. We had an interview with Eric Herbel and Zane Alcorn back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, and what is just an absolute electric atmosphere. A sea of orange on one side, a sea of gold on the other, as McKinney will take on McKinney North in the second ever Crosstown Showdown here in McKinney, and it's absolutely pandemonium. And we're still 15 minutes away from kickoff.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm used to. I played football out in the West Texas area when I was in high school, and this was about every game. Obviously, that atmospheric conditions here are a bit more electric because it's the Crosstown Showdown, but full stands, complete colors being worn by both sides. This is great. This is football atmosphere that I'm used to, and I'm loving it.
It's absolutely amazing to see. I'm talking about 95% of the people across the way on that west side are wearing orange. 95% are wearing orange. And over here on this near side, it's harder for me to see because I'm over here, but I can tell probably at least 80% are probably wearing gold. It's just, it's unbelievable. And to see the school spirit, and there's some special things that are going to happen tonight between the two schools coming together. The choirs are actually going to perform the national anthem together, both choirs from each school. And also at halftime, a special tribute, a special edition actually. Both bands will play together at half. They will combine, and that it gives me goosebumps even just thinking about that.
Well, and this is, I think, what's been absent in a lot of sports today is the friendly rivalry. Like, you put the Cowboys and Skins together, and it gets ugly at times. But, this is great. You got both sides going to do the national anthem together. There's just something nice about the friendly rivalry. It can be intense. Don't get me wrong there. It can be absolutely intense, but there's no bad feelings once it's over with, and I love that.
There is something to be said about the friendly rivalry, and you don't see any holding hands going on between Sherman and Denison. And, and sometimes you think, well, it would be nice to see them two get along. Maybe they could actually get together and build a stadium or something together. But, the friendly rivalry is definitely here in McKinney, and it's really nice to see. We will try to give you some of the national anthem when they get ready and come out on the field and get started with that. But let's talk about this football game first and foremost. It's what I think it comes down to are the two running backs. I think the two running backs are the keys in this football game. McKinney North, Chase Barrett comes in with 80 carries, 495 yards, and he has 9 touchdowns, and they've all come in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He had 5 last week, 4 the week before that. Chris Wimbish, on the other hand, the other tailback, he's for McKinney High. Wimbish is one of those runners who can absolutely score from any position at any time on the field. 64 carries, 463 yards, 4 touchdowns. He averages 7.23 yards per carry.
Well, the thing that concerns me by following McKinney is the one-dimensional offense that is Chris Wimbish. And let's analyze last game. He had a great game, but he had 2 carries for 100 yards, and he didn't break 200, and he had over 20. So if North can stop him from getting any big carries, and you basically log down McKinney's offense. So if McKinney wants success, they're going to have to find another answer to go along. You're not going to replace Wimbish, but you need somebody to complement him.
Last year's game basically was McKinney the McKinney North's offense versus that Pitt McKinney High defense. That was the matchup that everyone wanted to see. This year, it's a little bit different. McKinney North still has that high-powered offense. McKinney just doesn't have the high-powered defense that they once had. Still very good. They've played some really tough opponents. They just haven't stepped up to the standards that they had last year.
And we'll see if they start to get towards that direction in district play, because last week they had 3 goal line stands where each time Justin Northwest had first and goal at the 1, and they came away with 3 points. Is that a sign of how bad Justin was, or is that a sign this McKinney defense is starting to come around? Because Justin's already won their first district game yesterday.
Last year, the big story about McKinney was the fact that they were a plus 20 in the turnover department. After last week, they are now a plus 7 and headed in the right direction.
Well, they had 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery, and I don't believe they turned it over. Maybe they did once, but they had a great turnover ratio from last week.
Yeah, last week they actually recovered 3 fumbles and picked off 3 passes.
So I missed 2 fumbles, so they were plus 6.
6 turnovers last week, and they committed 0, and absolutely, they didn't throw. They only threw 3 times.
Well, one of that was a pass
by Chris Wimbish.
So, it goes to show you, like I said, he's a one-dimensional offense, but they need to find somebody to complement him, because against a good team and a good defense, which it seems, I don't want to say North has a good defense yet because they have to prove it over a full season, but they're definitely better than last year.
Absolutely. And talking about their plus-minus ratio, their turnover ratio, right now they're a -2. They have given up They've given up 5 fumbles and 3 interceptions, and they've only recovered 4 fumbles and have received 2 interceptions. So a -2 in the turnover department. Also a big stat for McKinney North. They score 50 points in the second quarter. That's by far their best quarter. And McKinney, conversely, their best quarter is the second quarter as well, 29 points. So it could come down to, they'll let them feel each other out the very first quarter, but the second quarter they're very successful.
Well, that's generally what even-matched teams do, and I think that's what we have here, Monty, is we have 2 even-matched teams. It's not going to be the dominant McKinney defense versus, a good McKinney North offense. I think if you have to look at it on paper, you give the edge to McKinney North's offense over McKinney's offense, and you give the edge to McKinney's defense over McKinney North's defense. So one of those two has got to give.
Yeah, something has to give tonight. 135 points scored by North so far this season. They've given up 89. McKinney, on the other hand, has scored 72 and given up 82. However, you think McKinney probably has played the tougher schedule.
Oh, yeah. You look at Fort Worth Western Hills, and they were close on that one. If it wasn't for a last-minute holding penalty, things might have been different. Of course, things would have happened different after that, so you can't say, well, they would have. But Fort Worth Western Hills went on to have an undefeated non-district, and I believe started District 1-0, depending on tonight. And then you look at Wiley. Wiley's always tough. You never know if they're going to have a down year just because they seem to be good every year. And then Newman Smith, while they had lost 15 in a row, they're still 5A, and that counts for something just because naturally 5A schools have bigger kids.
The biggest thing that happened to McKinney happened last week, the big thumping of Justin Northwest, and had that not have happened, this team would really be dragging around its lower lip on the ground tonight and probably would be in bad shape. But with that thumping of Justin Northwest last week, they kind of have a little chip on their shoulder now and are walking around with a little bit of a strut thinking, well, we might be back. And McKinney North is trying to knock them back down a little bit.
Well, and they're coming in with a strut of their own. They're 3-1 and 1-0 in district. Like I said, this is, like I've said before, I haven't said it tonight, but this doesn't need to be the second district game. This really does need to be the last one. But they come in with undefeated district records at 1-0.
McKinney, you can hear the faithful on the near side. We are on the McKinney home side. The McKinney Lions are in their helmet, the big blue helmet with the black face mask, the air-up helmet. They're all inside of this thing. They were jumping down there for a moment, and now they're about to be on their feet once again, jumping up and down in the tunnel. They're about to release, come out on the field. They're in their dark navy pants, dark navy tops, dark navy helmet with the big gold M on the side of their helmet, the same M that Michigan uses, and here come the Lions.
And that's one thing I like. Listen to those thundersticks.
The thundersticks are abound as this crowd is absolutely nuts. Former athletic director Rusty Dowling is standing right here on the railing right by our press box. And, his son J.D. Dowling actually is the strong middle linebacker. And Mr. Dowling made it up from Katy, where he took the job down there as athletic director, had to come back for this crosstown showdown, said he wouldn't miss it for anything.
Yeah, if you're going to catch one game for either side, this is the one you want to. And let me tell you something, too. If these teams were faced with only one win and they lost every other game, this is the win they pick against the other one. That's just, that's like Cowboys-Redskins. If you had to pick one win, that's what you pick. And this is just how intense this rivalry is in its second year.
Unfortunately for little Danny Snyder, he's only been able to win that one time.
Well,
and it just so happened to be the last one. Anyway, back to McKinney. As McKinney North is now, we're still looking for McKinney North to come out on the field.
fashionably late.
They are still in the dressing room. We've got 5 minutes till kickoff here. And the captains are coming out. We still don't see the captains from McKinney North. McKinney is probably wondering, where in the world is McKinney North?
I'm just maybe reading too much into this, but I bet this is a ploy. And it's like, hey, they'll start when we make it out there.
I'll tell you, back in 1989, the same kind of thing happened in Howe and Van Alstyne, in that big rivalry down there. In Howe, my sophomore year, we got on the bus, and we were actually going to Van Alstyne in a big rivalry game just like this, and we actually warmed up on our home field. The two towns are 6 miles apart. We got on our field, turned the lights on, warmed up, got on the bus, drove down Highway 5 with a caravan, the fire trucks bringing us into town. We got straight off the bus, walked right on the 40-yard line, and got ready for kickoff.
Wow.
And here comes McKinney North.
That's just their captains.
And the captains are coming out. North is still not as...
Listen to that.
Out
There's
on
some
the
booze coming from this side.
We like to say friendly rivalry, but sometimes rivalries, they're just rivalries. And you can hear that far sideline from McKinney North.
Listen to those thunder sticks.
The captains are coming to the midfield stripe for McKinney North. Justin Janow, Ryan Burke, Cameron Eubanks, Blake Boblitz, Eric Herbal, and Kirsten Williams. And for McKinney, it'll be J.D. Dowling, Brandon Ogletree, Cates Keith, Chris Wimbish, and let's go down with our own Teddy Sappho.
Right now, North's team's on the way to the field now.
Captains for the McKinney Lions tonight. Number 2, J.D. Dowling. Number 3 is Chris Wimbish.
If we have a penalty on the play, one of you guys step forward, make the decision for your team. If we have any rough play on the field, we're going to come to you guys to clean it. Guys, y'all representing your team. A good job here, okay? We expect good sportsmanship at all times, all right? Hands, introduce yourself. You already did that. Let's go. That's Tails. You're the visiting team.
Tails.
Okay? He's going to call Tails in the air. Okay. After I catch it, you repeat what he calls. Yes, if I drop it, we'll do it again. In the air. You're going to call?
Tails.
He called?
Tails.
It's Tails. You won the toss. You kick, receive, defend to go, or defer to. They want to defer. 1 second.
All right, thanks, Teddy Sappho, down on the field. Just as last year, McKinney North has won the toss. They have elected to defer, just like they did last year. Blake Boblitz will kick off from the 40-yard line. They will actually even defend the same goal.
I like that choice. You know why? Because you set the tone with your defense first. A lot of times coaches will say we want to receive so we can set the tone on offense. And me being the defensive-minded guy, I love to defer. And North is going to say, hey, you're going to have to go through our defense first if you're going to try to get on the board first before us.
Lots of handshakes at center court as very sportsmanlike. The McKinney North Bulldogs and the McKinney Lions will now go back to their respective sidelines. McKinney North will go to their big bulldog. It's actually a big, huge orange bulldog face.
Well, it's similar to the McKinney, the McKinney blue helmet, except that instead of a helmet, it's a bulldog.
It is a big bulldog face. They're actually in the mouth of the bulldog with the teeth right above them. McKinney North they have the white pants on, the white uniforms, the orange helmets, which are basically the same color of the Cleveland Browns helmet, but they have the
a little
blue,
brighter.
But they have the blue and white stripe across the middle instead of the brown and white stripe. And here come the McKinney North Bulldogs.
Listen to that sound. God, this is a great atmosphere. You can't get up for a game like this. You don't have a pulse.
Absolute pandemonium at McKinney ISD Stadium. It is a packed house. It is rocking and rolling. We're going to take a quick timeout. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. It is SRO, standing room only at McKinney ISD Stadium. I can't tell you how incredible and electric it is right here, right now, at this moment.
Well, and that's a nice thing, too. Talking about the friendly rivalry, that national anthem done by both schools' choir, and you couldn't even tell that there were two separate entities doing that. It was pretty flawless, pretty nice, and really smooth.
Again, McKinney North won the toss. They will defend the south end zone. They will be moving left to right on your radio dial. Blake Boblitz, assumably, will be kicking off. He does every time. And normally back deep for McKinney will be Corbin Lewis if he's healthy, and he is. Corbin Lewis will go back deep along with Chris Wimbish, the outstanding tailback. And Wimbish is standing at the 15-yard line on the north end zone. The stadium runs north and south. McKinney will be moving right to left when they get the ball momentarily. Boblitz puts the tee down at the 40-yard line, talks to the official for a moment, looks back at his kickoff team, gets them in order, gets them in the huddle. They're standing side by side. We are about to be underway in this spectacular second annual Crosstown Showdown.
And right now, McKinney knows they can't take anything for granted in a game like this. Their front five are ready for an onside kick because Blake Boblitz standing right at the 40-yard line.
Last year, the very first kick in this Crosstown Showdown was a pooch kick by Blake Boblitz, caught by J.D. Dowling. And J.D. Dowling will not catch it this year as he is not on the field. Well, Blake Boblitz is.
Kind of odd for a guy like J.D. Dowling to be the first recipient of a kickoff.
And Boblitz, it's a pooch kick once again. It's going to be taken at the 26-yard line by an upman, and that is the normal linebacker for McKinney, Adonis Graham, and he'll run it out to the 40, and McKinney is already, I'm telling you what, these little thunder sticks are very, very loud in our ears.
Yeah, just imagine what 19,000 of them do for a Mavericks playoff game. This is the only time you see them is a big time in a Maverick game, and this just is equally a big time game here at the high school level.
First and 10 for McKinney, and we'll give you the McKinney Lions starting offense after this play. It's first and 10 at the 38-yard line, moving right to left. This is Zane Alcorn, the quarterback, sends one receiver either side. Power set, I formations. Alcorn's going to hand off Wimbish up the middle, and he is wrestled down immediately. A gain of maybe 2 at just shy of the 40-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and 8. Let's give you the McKinney Lions starting offense. After this play, we'll give you the McKinney North Bulldog defense. This is 2nd down and 8. Alcorn is going to toss right. Wimbish looking for the corner. Cuts it inside. He's got the first down as he crosses the midfield stripe into McKinney North territory's 48-yard line. Here is the McKinney North starting defense. 1st and 10 after the 12-yard Chris Wimbish run around the right side. 10:53 left to go here in the first quarter. We're just underway. Dominic Sweeney goes in motion from right to left. This is a toss left side. Wimbish tries to juke a man, does, and barely gets out to the line of scrimmage, and now they're going to give him a couple of yards as they're going to mark him well right at the 40, in between the 46 and the 47. Wimbish slow to get up, but he does and runs back to the huddle. It will be 2nd down and about 8.
Well, 2nd and 8 is a lot better than 2nd and 12 or 13. McKinney North coming on a linebacker blitz, and they just happened to call the right side of the linebacker to come through, and they were running to the left side, so they were both meeting on the same side, but Wimbish with the nifty move to avoid the tackle in the backfield and actually gain positive yards.
10:09 left to go in the first quarter. No score here at McKinney ISD Stadium. Zane Alcorn, the quarterback, under center. He's going to fake the toss to Wimbish, and no, he actually does give to Wimbish. And he goes nowhere. He's going to gain about 2 yards again.
Kirsten Williams' nose tackle just busted through, basically just tackled the center and blew him up on his way to making an ankle tackle on Wimbish, but Wimbish was so surprised because he was touched by the time he received it. He was able to fall forward for an extra yard, but it's still officially a loss of 1 on the play.
Well, it was one of those where it was a great fake. Alcorn actually faked me out. I thought he faked it to Wimbish and was going to roll outside, but he didn't do it. 3rd down and long now at 3rd and 10. 1 receiver out wide right, 1 in the slot, and a power I formation. This is Alcorn rolling out right side, looking down the field, has his man, and it's caught at the 39-yard line, very close to the first down, but I think it's going to be just about a yard short.
Yeah, they needed 10, and Peters ran an 8-yard out, and by the time he received the pass, on the play cornerback was Colwell Permeter, and he made the tackle immediately, so now they're up with a 4th and 1, and in a big game like this, you can never trust a 4th down for what it is.
It is 4th down and 1, and Teddy Sappho's got to be just absolutely engulfed with all of this electric atmosphere down on the sidelines. We'll try to talk to him here in a little bit. 4th down and 1, they're going to go for it. Here is Zane Alcorn, the quarterback. Big play early.
Expect Wimbish.
This is Alcorn, the quarterback, barking signals, and he's trying to draw him off sides. Not going to do it. McKinney North says, nope. And now timeout has been called. They just tried to duke him off sides with 8:33 left to go here in the first quarter. McKinney North didn't bite, and McKinney North is going to get the ball.
I'm not sure that's necessarily a bad call when you got a guy like Chris Wimbish on 4 carries, has 14 yards already. You just need 1, but at the same time, he's been caught in the backfield twice, so it could be.
Teddy Sappho down on the sidelines. Teddy, you gotta be engulfed in this atmosphere. What's it like down there? Teddy, it may be so loud that Teddy can't even hear us.
Well, I'm wondering. I bet that's the case.
Well, it is still 4th and 1 with 8:33 left to go in the first quarter. And I'm sure the McKinney Lions will just punt this one away here and try to pin McKinney North very deep. Of course, McKinney North, remember, they have that high-powered offense. They've scored at 135 points already in this season, including 49 last week against a very good Lake Dallas team.
Maybe not. Looks like they're in a go-for-it formation. Although you can always never.
Alcorn is the punter.
Yeah, you can always expect a quick kick. Although if he's under center, that'd pretty much rule that out.
And it looks like he is going under center. Power I tied into the right side, and Alcorn is under center. He's quarterback sneaking it up the middle. I'm not sure if he got it. It's a wrestle, and one of the McKinney North Bulldogs wrestled him down. The ball was on the turf.
Well, it was down because as he was being tackled, he reached out, and as soon as the ball hits the turf, that's down, and it rolled out from his grasp. So it's all going to depend on the spot, but I'm telling you, I think they got him short. I wonder if Teddy's got a good view of it.
This would be a great situation for Teddy if he can actually hear us.
Although the crowd's kind of died down.
I can hear you guys. They from standing over here, it looks like they're going to be short, but they're going to bring the chains out to make sure that they actually short.
All right, thanks, Teddy. Fourth and, I mean, it was 4th and 1. Alcorn actually went straight up over the right side of his center. He was pushed back left side by Austin Mann of McKinney North, and Mann actually dragged him around to the left side and threw him to the turf, and that's when the ball popped out. And they're going to stretch this chain. McKinney North jumps up like they have held, and they have. McKinney North will take over for the first time tonight at their own 39-yard line.
That play, although he's not going to get credit for a single thing, was made by Kirsten tackle. He caught up Chris Wimbish earlier on this drive in the backfield, but he basically tied up. And let me tell you, at 5'10", 230, that's a guy you're going to have a hard time making a quarterback sneak on, because on a quarterback sneak, you just need a little movement from your offensive line forward, and that's hard to get against a guy like Kirsten Williams, because he's going to dominate the center there, Michael Connolly, who's 5'8", only 205, and the tackles, or rather the guards, only Jared Thompson can equal his weight.
McKinney North Bulldogs offense comes out on the field now, and we'll give you their starting offense, the Bulldogs starting offense after this play. Shotgun formation. Herbal gets it, wants to look over the middle. Throwing out right side, throwing the home run ball down, and it is overthrown to Cameron Buford, who tried to jump up at the 23-yard line, and it was just over his head. Buford, a big, tall receiver for the McKinney North Bulldogs, 6'2", 180. Let's give you the McKinney North starting offense. On 2nd down and 10, this is Herbal keeping around the left side, has a big running lane, crosses the 45 to the 46-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 4 for McKinney North, coming up close to the first down marker and close to the midfield stripe with McKinney Lions on defense. After this play, we'll go ahead and give you the McKinney Lions defense. It is 3rd down and 1, however, here. Big play early on.
Well, a nice play fake by Herbal there, giving it to Chase Barrett on the right side, but then pulling it up on the quarterback option, and he decided to keep it with Buford going as the pitch man, took it up and got 9 yards.
Flags on the play, whistles, and we'll see what it is. Here's the McKinney Lions starting defense.
The penalty officially going to go against McKinney North. They got the line moving with an illegal procedure, but I got to tell you, from my perspective, it looked like McKinney made contact first, but they may have been moved by a movement.
Shotgun formation, 3rd and 7. Herbal throws it out right side. Cameron Eubanks trying to cut the corner, and now is swarmed at the 45-yard line. A gain of about 3, but he needed about 7 to get the first down. No score here yet in McKinney. 7-13 and rolling in the first quarter. We're just underway. Both teams have had the ball, and both have had pretty nice defensive stands.
Yeah, Buford a little uncertain when he caught that pass. He had a chance to go to the outside because the corner was engaged in a blocker, cut it up to the middle, and he was indecisive, and that allowed the McKinney pursuit to get there on defense.
Brandon Dunn back to punt. The only weak spot so far for McKinney North this season has been the punting. For some reason, haven't been able to get it over 30. This is a great chance for Brandon Dunn to negate all of that as he stands at his own 31-yard line. Gets this one off. It's a high, spiraling, beautiful punt by Brandon Dunn. Lands at the 19, bounces sideways towards that west sideline, and will now roll forward. What a beautiful punt by Brandon Dunn. It's killed at the 11-yard line. 6:23 left to go in the first quarter. No score in McKinney between McKinney and McKinney North. The Crosstown Showdown is underway. Let's talk about a few firsts in this series. As we mentioned, McKinney North won the toss last year in the first ever game. They defended the south end zone just like they did tonight. Boblets to J.D. Dowling was the kickoff. Bo Burns actually made the first tackle in the series. The first play, encroachment, McKinney North defense. Nobody would ever think that. Corbin Lewis actually ran the first rush, and Gary Kiefer got the first down. Some of those names are familiar with the McKinney Lions fans. This is I formation, toss left, Wimbish cuts it back inside, now cuts it outside. He's got some length. He's 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Makes a cut and is knocked out of bounds right past the midfield stripe by Coyle Permetter. Actually, that was Bo Burns who knocked him out. What And what a great run by Wimbish. He tried to cut it inside, saw that there was nothing there, cut it outside, and that's where he turned on the juices.
Zach Plummer, the strong end there, is Kane, and he had a shot on Wimbish in the backfield, but for some reason his feet just stuck into the ground and he couldn't move, and basically it just looked like Wimbish ran right by him.
A nice run there by Chris Wimbish will set up first down, now again inside McKinney North territory. As this will be a toss, fake the toss and hand to Brett Anderson up the middle, and Anderson's going nowhere. He's probably going to lose a couple of yards. Back to the 49-yard line, a loss of 3 on the play. 6:02 left to go in the first quarter. No score in McKinney.
Kirsten Williams again making the play from his nose tackle position. That's his second tackle already tonight, and usually nose tackles don't get a lot of stats. I'm telling you, he's a big play guy right now for this North defense, and we're only still about halfway through the first quarter.
Second down and 13 after the 3-yard loss. And again, moving right to left is McKinney, and now moving left to right is Dominic Sweeney in motion. This is going to be a toss right side. Wimbish cuts it inside, now tries to cut it outside. And right there on the stop for McKinney North is the linebacking crew, James San Miguel and Kenny Alexander. Both of them working side by side on that play. Wimbish had no choice but to go straight down for no gain. 3rd and 13, 5:10 left to go in the first quarter.
Again, you look at that defensive line. Zach Plummer, though he's not going to get credit for the tackle, was trying to strip the ball away from Wimbish, and that slowed him down. And that's all you really need to do if you're trying to defend Wimbish, to slow him down, because he's got amazing speed, and that allowed the linebacking crew to get there for North.
Jeff Fuller comes far left. Michael Peters split out far right. One man in the backfield is Wimbish. Zane Alcord wants to throw. Throws it out right side, and it is caught by Dominic Sweeney. Tight roping down the sidelines and is knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line, short of the first down. McKinney will have to punt, or do they? They might even go for it again here with 4:37 left to go in the first quarter. This one not 4th and short. This one about 4th and 3.5.
Yeah, not a wise thing to do, because right now, if you had to decide who has the momentum, you got to say North, because they've been fairly effective on defense. Plus, you're not inside the 35 like they were last time they were tried a 4th down conversion.
Punt team comes back onto the football field. Zane Alcorn will stand at his own 48-yard line. No score yet in McKinney. A man goes in motion. Brett Anderson on the punt. Don't see that a whole lot. Are they going to fake it? No, they snap it back. This is Alcorn. Gets a high punt off. It's trying to hit that coffin corner out of there, and it actually lands out of bounds at about the 12. We'll see where they actually mark it as the referee keeps walking up. He's at the 16, 17, 18. He's going to stop right there. So McKinney North will take over at their own 18-yard line.
So instead of hitting the corner like he was trying, he hit a photographer on the north sideline. Some District 9 4A scores that have already happened. Justin Northwest played yesterday against Keller Central, and Northwest comes away with their first district win, 46-21. Of course, Keller having to juggle 4 schools in one stadium, so that's why they played a Thursday night game.
That also gives Justin Northwest a 1-1 record in the district. This is a man in motion, Chase Barrett behind. There's whistles blowing before the play could get underway. It was a handoff to Chase Barrett up the middle, but somebody moved up front for McKinney North.
Well, but I didn't see a flag come down from any of the officials. Okay, there we go. The linesman on the far side there. So they've got another legal procedure. That's the second penalty against North. And it's also the second illegal procedure against him.
Talking about last night's game, Justin Northwest, that moves them to 3-2 on the year, 1-1 in district. Keller Central moves to 3-2 on the year and 0-2 in district. So Keller Central, a relatively new school, looking to pick it up there. 3 receivers to the right side, Barrett in motion. This is the same play, handoff Barrett up the middle. Crosses the 15 and met immediately at the 20-yard line, but barrels his way forward to the 22. He just didn't stop. He took a big pop from J.D. Dowling, or actually Cates Keith, I believe, and just kept rolling.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe he's as small as he is. He was hit by 3 guys at the same time, and both were not, or all 3 rather, were not going in the direction Barrett was. Yet somehow Barrett managed to keep his momentum forward and gain an extra 3 to 4 yards.
Everyone who thought this might be a high-scoring contest right now doesn't look that way. With 3:56 left to go in the first, no score.
McKinney North's first carry, by the way.
McKinney North moving left to right. This is a handoff. Barrett left side. and pushing towards that fourth down. Oh, my goodness. The entire pile moved past the first down marker. Barrett took 11 guys with him.
Well, credit some of that to Barrett, but credit a lot of that to the offensive line of the Bulldogs there. More specifically, the interior of Houston Beasley at left guard, Burke at center, or rather Ryan Burke, and Daniel Holt at the other guard position. We got inside, and those three just kept that pile moving along with Barrett not letting his feet stop.
3:37 and rolling. First down and 10 for McKinney North. Herbal in shotgun formation sends three receivers out wide left. Barrett standing to his right. Shotgun. He's going to give to Barrett this time, running left side. Again, fighting his way for yardage out to the 40-yard line, a gain of 6. And right now it's been Chase Barrett time in Texas so far early on in this first quarter.
Well, so far he has 3 carries on the night, and all 3 have come on this drive. That's a drive of 3 plays, so why stop what's working? They started at the 18, and they're now just a couple inches shy of the 40-yarder.
The nose of the football is barely touching the stripe of the 40-yard line as 3 receivers go far left as Barrett in motion, and now Herbal's going to keep it rolling out left side, runs into one of his blockers, and McKinney Lions absolutely destroy him at the 40-yard line. He couldn't get away from one of his blockers out on the far side, and I believe over there for the McKinney North Bulldogs was the lineman Brett Davis, who was actually on the left side of the line, just got in the way of Herbal, and Herbal was in trouble after that.
Well, and that also didn't start off well prior to that because he slipped on the exchange of the fake from Chase Barrett. He started out with his pitchman Eubanks there, but he took a right foot slip, and it really slowed the play down.
3rd and 3 at their own 41. Handoff Barrett up the middle. Big hole, 50, 45, and down at the 41-yard line. Chase Barrett is rumbling and stumbling his way into history maybe in the second annual Crosstown Showdown. He is on fire early so far as he's just barely – he goes from 140 to the other basically. First down and 10 from McKinney North, 2:05 left to go in the first quarter.
19-yard gain by Barrett has him at 41 already for the game, and Monty, they've all come on this drive.
First and 10 at the McKinney Lion 40-yard line. Man in motion. That's Cameron Eubanks, gets the ball in the reverse, and he is hammered by J.D. Dowling at the line of scrimmage. He's actually driven back quite a bit behind the line of scrimmage, but a nice play by there. J.D. Dowling wasn't fooled.
Well, forward progression keeps him back to the original line of scrimmage, but right now this drive is a drive of 6 plays, 4 carries by Chase Barrett that's gone 41 yards, and then a carry by Herbal and Eubanks combined, and it's gone for 1 yard. Stick with what's working.
Second down and 10, nearing the end of the first quarter with 1:19. No score here in the first. Man in motion. Cameron Eubanks again. Handoff Barrett this time, left guard, and he is met by Eddie Morgan right at the line of scrimmage and buries him. That'll be no gain. Maybe they might give him forward progress, a yard, but he was absolutely lit up by Eddie Morgan.
I got a question for you. How does a guy like Chase Barrett, who gets met head on by the right tackle Derek Clary, who has a 216 weight advantage on him, and yet somehow Barrett can manage to push him forward for a gain of, now they move it forward for 2 yards. That's an amazing play by Barrett.
Third down and about 9.5, or 8.5 rather, as shotgun formation. Herbal stands back, wants to throw, looking over the right side, has a man Eubanks, and it's just underthrown. Would have been a first down. And is it a first down?
No.
The McKinney North crowd is absolutely going crazy, but
well,
it's
it looked
fourth
like
down.
he caught it, but it trapped it. And, you know, trap can look like a catch, but it's clearly not.
I looked and I thought I saw that it was underthrown, but then I look across the field and I think, well, what's going on? They're all crazy over there on the far sideline. But apparently we had a better vantage point than they did.
Well, all you got to do is watch the official. He'll give you a clue right away.
Fourth down and 8, punting time for Brandon Dunn again, as he will stand in McKinney North territory at the 47-yard line. Again, McKinney North moving left to right, but about to have to switch as he tries to hit that coffin corner in that other end zone, and it actually does. It lands at the 7 and down inside the 10 at the 6-yard line. A great play down there by Michael Scott from McKinney North to actually field that ball like a third baseman.
Well, did you see what Dunn did? He saw no rush, so he just kind of stood there for a second or two and let his coverage team get down there so they could make that play. That's just a heads-up play.
Took his time back behind the line of scrimmage. Last year, McKinney North had 2 punts blocked in this football game. Talked to Eric Herbal in the spotlight earlier in this show, and he said they worked on that a lot this week.
I bet.
As McKinney will have the ball deep in their own territory with only 21 seconds left to go in the quarter. No score in McKinney. McKinney moving right to left for the moment. They will send 2 men out, 1 on each side. Wimbish, the tailback, will get the toss, and he is buried right at the line of scrimmage. They're going to push him back, and he's going back to the 1-yard line.
Well, no, they're going to give him forward progress earlier. But I'm telling you, that North defense is not giving up, and he's had a couple big runs. But it's just like last week, not a lot. And is he down?
Somebody is down, and I believe that is Wimbish. He lost 2 yards on the play. They're going to say it's 2nd down and 12, but the bigger issue here is Chris Wimbish, as he really was hit. And right now the trainers are out on the field. They're kind of looking at the right ankle. We'll see. Can't speculate as to what it might be, but right now they're looking at the right ankle. 4 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. We don't know how long Chris Wimbish will be down, so we'll take a quick timeout. Be back in a moment with more McKinney High School football. Well, good news for McKinney fans is that Chris Wimbish walked off the field. Bad news is that he's still walking. It's taking Chris Wimbish a very, very long time to get off this football field.
Yeah, our board out back at the station told us we had 30 seconds when he started up and walking. He's just now reaching the sidelines, to put in an illustration of just how long it took him to get from about the right hash mark to his sideline. That's not a good sign, and he looks out of it.
Yeah, Chris Wimbish is not doing real well right now. He is walking. He's doing okay, but he's
well, it's just good news that he's walking.
It is. He really took a pop from a bunch of McKinney North Bulldogs, as that is the end of the first quarter. No score here, as they will switch sides now, and McKinney now will be moving left to right, and it'll be 2nd down and 12. And I tell you what, this crowd has not fizzled at all, even though there has not been any scoring yet.
But that also means there hasn't been scoring for the other side, too, so you're still in it.
You know, if someone asked me, I had a lot of opinions about this game. You know, it could go
I don't believe that.
Either way. I didn't venture a guess in public over who I thought would win.
Well, let's put it on record now. Why not?
If anybody told me that they would be scoreless at the end of one, I would have really have been dumbfounded. Because,
and both sides has stars on each side. And you're surprised that they've been contained, although, you total Wimbish and Barrett's yards. They're over 100 right now for a quarter. They just, playing well between the 30s.
How is Calvin Maxwell going to do coming in for Chris Wimbish? Maxwell on the season, 5 carries, 17 yards. The first time he touched the ball was last week, and we'll see what he can do here as McKinney is deep in their own territory. 2nd down and 12 from their own 3. Alcorn under center. He's going to toss right. Calvin Maxwell trying to get out of the end zone. He's met by Kenny Alexander. Going to gain a yard. So 3rd.
We just had a late flag.
Well, now they move the sticks up. He actually made it out to the 8-yard line. So a 5-yard gain. So 3rd down, and I don't see the flag, Brandon.
Well, the official, the head referee threw a flag after the play, which is usually in terms of a personal foul. We got a dead ball personal foul. It's against North. Boy, that's a bailout for McKinney.
That will be a big 1st down for McKinney High.
By the way, penalty-free quarter for McKinney, and North had 2 penalties for 10 yards in the first quarter. This is now their 3rd and brings their yardage total up to 25.
Well, it'll be 1st and 10 for McKinney now. You're right. They got him out of jail there with that big penalty by McKinney North, the personal foul. It'll be 1st and 10 now from the 24-yard line in McKinney territory, moving left to right. 11:53 left to go in the second quarter. No score in this crosstown showdown, the 2nd ever. And is it ever a good one? 2 receivers either side. Calvin Maxwell in the backfield. Zane Alcorn under center. And he will get the snap. He will toss left side, and right there for McKinney North is James San Miguel. And
Come on, look at us. Look at us. We want to give you credit for a good tackle.
that was a great tackle over there, and I believe
Zach Plummer.
it was Zach Plummer. And Maxwell, the tailback, got the toss. He was going out left side. Did a great job of just salvaging some yardage out of it because he was met immediately by Plummer and James San Miguel.
Remember earlier, Wimbush was able to bounce one outside because Plummer couldn't get his feet moving, and I bet the North coaches had a talk with him because his feet were moving definitely on that play.
Two receivers to the right side, Corbin Lewis and Michael Peters. Flags on the play, whistles blowing, and it'll be delay of game on McKinney. 11:04 left to go in the second quarter. Back them up 5 yards.
Yeah, again, that's a bonehead penalty. Now, not as bad as the personal foul from North, but you're facing a 2nd and 12, and now you give them a 5-yard penalty, and you're facing a 2nd 17. You're a one-dimensional offense with Wimbush, and then all of a sudden you take them out. Boy, it's going to be tough.
Timeout on the field. We'll take 1, 2. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. 2nd down and 12 for McKinney Lions. This is Alcorn rolling out right side. One hops, Michael Peters, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 12 now.
Well, this was a smart play. Let's go back to prior to the timeout. There was no penalty because they called the timeout before.
Teddy Saffo down on the sidelines has some information about Chris Wimbush. Teddy?
Yeah, Monty. It seems like on that last play when Wimbush tried to cut back, that's when that's when he got planted and he took a hit. He took a shot. But the interesting thing that the coach did say, look, if one guy goes down, one needs to step up. And that man right there who does have to step up is Calvin Maxwell. So we'll see what he'll do on this next offensive possession. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Teddy. Calvin Maxwell is the I-back right now at 3rd and 12, and they were going to hand off to him, and he's met right at the line of scrimmage, going nowhere. And a great play by James San Miguel once again, and it'll be punting time for McKinney Lions. Zane Alcorn will go back to punt. A great stand there by McKinney North again.
Well, Maxwell got 6 yards on his first carry, but was knocked backwards for 2 on his second, rather than on his third was a no gain.
Well,
so it looks like that was a wasted timeout, Monty, by saving a 5-yard penalty because they're going to end up punting anyway deep in their own territory.
4th down and 11. Alcorn gets a low end-over-end punt. It's actually going to be all right because it's going to roll down toward McKinney North, and it's picked up by Kenny McGowan, who only has about 5 yards before he's tackled by Dominique Sweeney and company, and McKinney North will take over at their own 46-yard line.
Well, right now at the rate these teams are going, 5 yards is a precious commodity. It takes him basically, with the ball was rolling, he picked it up at about the 40, and it's at the 46. But that ball would have probably kept rolling down to the 30 and possibly even further. So, I mean, that was a smart play because he gained 6, but basically prevented 20, you know.
10-12 left to go in the second quarter. No score in McKinney. McKinney North takes over 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line, moving right to left towards that south end zone. Man goes in motion. That's Max Butler. They're going to hand off. Chase Barrett running right guard, cuts it back inside, and Brandon Ogletree knocks him down at the 49-yard line, just short of midfield. About a 4-yard gain, 3-yard gain.
Well, I remember commenting in prior games that we'd done that Chase Barrett looked really good offensively. They just didn't feed him. There'd be times where he'd gain 80 yards on 14 carries, and it looks like they're trying to get him his due carries right now. That was relatively bad carry for what he's done tonight, and it gains 4 yards.
2nd down and 7, 9:45 left to go in the second quarter. No score. 2 receivers to either side. Chase Barrett will stand to the right of Herbal, send Butler in motion again. This time Herbal wants to throw, looking over the middle, throwing the home run, ball down the middle. Three men are there, 3 Lions are there, only Blake Boblets for McKinney North. The ball falls incomplete, and that will bring up 3rd down and 7.
Well, Blake had them all beat. He was behind every McKinney North defender, or rather every McKinney Lion defender, and it was just a short pass by Herbal, who's not having a great night. He's only 1 of 4 so far early in the game.
3rd down and 7. They're all big plays, but this one's a pretty big one early. 9:28 left to go in the second quarter. No score once again here in McKinney. And fans all across, not only in McKinney, but I know there's fans all across the Metroplex, all across Texoma listening to this football game. And this is a very, very large game in North Texas.
Especially so early in the season.
3rd down and 7. Big play from McKinney North early. Herbal back to pass. Under pressure. Steps up in the pocket. Looks over across the middle, and it's batted down by Casey Cooley. A great play over the middle. Casey Cooley, the defensive end, back in coverage. Knocks the ball down. It could have been a big gainer, but nice for the McKinney Lions that Cooley was right there.
Well, they ran a zone blitz where one of the linebackers came on and put Casey Cooley in pass coverage. And I think North probably dodged a bullet there because Cooley is a defensive end, not so good with the hands, and he just was able only to knock it down.
Well, one of the interesting things about Casey Cooley, a big guy like that, he's the fastest guy on the team. Unbelievable for a defensive end to be the fastest guy on the team, but he is. This is Brandon Dunn in punt formation back at his own 35-yard line. Takes all the time in the world.
Just smart.
This one goes off his side of his foot a little bit, lands at the 28-yard line, rolls out of bounds at about the 24. So McKinney will take over at their own 20. Well, they're going to mark it right at the 25. So McKinney will take over at their own 25-yard line. Not a lot happening so far in this football game.
Unless you like punts.
Chris Wimbish had a long run earlier in the first quarter, and that's basically been about it.
Well, Chase Barrett had a 19-yarder to go in the mix, but I'm wondering why that happened on that last drive. He starts off getting about 3 yards, and then they go away and try to run 2 passes. I'm not against throwing the long ball, but, you got to work with what is working, and that's been Chase Barrett only.
9:11 left to go here in the second quarter. McKinney now will take over, moving left to right from their own 25-yard line, and it's just inside the 25. The nose of the ball touching the stripe. Calvin Maxwell again in the backfield. Chris Wimbish was injured earlier, right before the second quarter began. And Alcorn is going to fake the hand to him, drop back and throw it over the middle, and it is caught by Corbin Lewis and dropped. Corbin Lewis had one of those last year down around the 30-yard line. He had a long bomb thrown to him. He caught it for a moment and dropped it. Did the same thing here.
Well, he did have it in his hands, and he's only caught one pass on the year for only 3 yards. So he doesn't have the experience of bringing in the pass, especially one on the run over the middle. And you're right, it wasn't his hands, but it looked like when he made contact with the ground, it jarred it loose, and you have to come down with it on the ground or take 2 steps for it to be reception, and he did neither.
Corbin Lewis, a big part of the offense last year, been out most of this year with an injury, just now coming back. 9:05 left to go here in the second quarter. No score. Alcorn toss left side. This is Maxwell trying to find the outside corner. Gains about 5 yards. I thought for a moment he was being wrestled down by his face mask. No flag as he crosses the 30-yard line.
No, what you saw was an attempted strip, and Maxwell had enough arm strength to hold on to it, but in the process got himself turned around, and that allowed the rest of the defense to get there. But that's a nice 2nd and 10 gain of 5, and it puts them in a reasonably manageable 3rd and 5 situation here. And keep in mind, they've been playing mostly on their side of the 35-yard line in their own territory for majority of their possessions minus the first.
One thing we haven't mentioned, Brett Anderson normally in at fullback, or at least he was last week. John Scroggins in so far tonight. So a brand new backfield for McKinney. Alcorn rolling left side, throws it out for Corbin Lewis, and he throws it out right side a little bit. It's incomplete. The McKinney High fans are on their feet for some reason, but that's going to be 4th down unless they saw something I didn't.
Well, I was wondering if there was a late flag coming in because out in coverage there was Bo Burns, and he made contact pretty hard, but I wouldn't say that'd be enough for a personal foul.
Well, I guess
the North is moving in that direction, so something happened.
Must have been some kind of penalty.
I bet roughing the passer because the umpire, or rather the referee, is picking up his flag, and that's usually in the area of roughing the passer. Or, oh yeah, they're marking off 15. So yeah, I bet that's what it was.
Well, 2 big costly penalties against McKinney North here in the second quarter. It hasn't broke the back yet, but it's sure bending a little bit.
Well, but they could have pinned him so deep, Monty.
Another 1st down for McKinney near midfield at the 45-yard line, moving left to right. 8:17 left to go in the second quarter. No score. Alcorn toss left side. Maxwell has a seam, cuts it 50, 45, 40. Outruns the man at the 30, 25, 20, and is going to be wrestled down at the 12-yard line. You wanted to know about Calvin Maxwell? We'll get some of that. A big gainer down to the 12-yard line.
A gain of 42 by Maxwell. That's a statement run, and like I was saying before the play interrupted me, is that those penalties haven't really hurt that much prior to that run, but they've kept McKinney out of the shadow of their own end zone. And now not only does it give them a first down and a gain of 15, but it sets up a big run of 42.
8:06 left to go before the half. No score, but McKinney knocking on the door here at the 12-yard line. 1st and 10, toss left side. Maxwell again lowers his head, fights his way to the 10-yard line, and he's not going to get very close to, well, he gets close to it, but they're going to mark him down at the 11, I believe. And it will be 2nd down and about 7. Again, no score here in McKinney, and what a great run that was by Calvin Maxwell.
That was only their 2nd first down of the game, too, surprisingly enough. But it just goes to show you how much they need Wimbish and how much they need Maxwell to take a next level in his game.
Jeff Fuller will go wide left. Michael Peters wide right side. 2 men in the backfield, I formation. Zane Alcorn under center. Maxwell dots the I's. Zane Alcorn completes the pass out to Fuller, close to the touchdown at the 1-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down, but he looked out left, hit Fuller, his wide out. Fuller caught it and went another 2 yards before he was dragged down. It'll be 1st and goal from the 1-yard line.
Right now, McKinney has 3 completions, and North only has 1. And if I'd have told you that before the game, you'd probably looked at me funny on that one.
Seeing how last week Zane Alcorn was 0 for 2 for the entire football game. You got to do things different when your main guy is out, I guess. And McKinney is doing some things different tonight. They're still running the power I formation. Calvin Maxwell is doing his thing on this drive, but they're actually throwing the football around a little bit. Here's Alcorn under center, toss left side. That's Calvin Maxwell, and you can tell by the crowd it's touchdown time in Texas. McKinney Lions score first in the 2nd crosstown showdown meeting here. And Calvin Maxwell runs it up 1 yard for the touchdown.
Simple toss play, off tackle left side. Calvin Maxwell finds a seam between the tight end and tackle. Good up front push there. Jeff Fuller getting a seal block to the outside, and on the inside getting a seal block was senior Chris Haller, the left tackle. Basically put a nice hole for Maxwell to walk through evenly.
The extra point is up, and it is good. 7-0. The McKinney Lions lead first here tonight. 6:37 left to go in the 2nd quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. What a way for McKinney High to get on the board. They got punched in the mouth when they lost Chris Wimbish. They pretty much get up and say, so what? Put Calvin Maxwell in there, and they run it right down the field. 7-0, they have the lead.
Well, that's exactly what they needed to do, is say, hey, we may have lost Wimbish, but you're not going to find it that easy to run upon us, or run all over us, rather. And they showed that, hey, we'll be doing some running on you of our own. And now instead of having to stop Wimbish, they have to stop Maxwell.
6:37 left to go before the half. We have a new score, 7-0. McKinney on top. McKinney will be kicking off here. Patrick Kleineberg will tee it up from the 40-yard line. Teddy, we had some information. We were talking to you off the air, and you had something to say. Talk about Wimbish and Maxwell.
Actually, I have a little bit to say about Calvin Maxwell. Just what Coach McKay said earlier. He said, look, if one guy goes down, one steps up, and that's been the man in the first. And the guy who did say that very comment was the first one to congratulate him once he walked off the field. Kudos to Calvin Maxwell. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy. And Patrick Kleineberg is awaiting to break out of his kickoff huddle, standing at his 35. The ball's teed up at the 40, and what do you do if you're McKinney North? You got to punch it right back, don't you?
Find Chase Barrett. That's what's working. Passing is not. They're only 1 of 5 so far on the day, and that one has only been for 3 yards on a screen. But
Yep.
Chase Barrett's got 46 yards on 6 carries.
Their quarterback, Eric Hurwell for McKinney North, is 7th in the area in passing with 797 yards. You would think at some point he's going to have to start throwing it down the field a little bit as the kickoff lands at the 20, takes a weird hop, and it's picked up by Kenny McGowan at the 15, crossing outside and now down at the 17-yard line. That ball took a funny hop. It landed at the 20-yard line and spun towards the middle of the field.
Yeah, it took about a diagonal from this side of the field to the corner of the end zone, and that's one thing about football. I can drop a ball 10 times and probably 7 or 8, it's going to go in a different direction than it did the last time, and that's just one of the risks you take by not fielding a kickoff, and you have to because those are a live football.
Here comes McKinney North's offense on the field at their own 18-yard line, moving right to left, down 7-0 to McKinney. moving towards that south end zone. 2 receivers either side. Herbal's going to hand off. Chase Barrett now finds the right side corner, crosses the 20 down at the 25-yard line, gain of 7, setting up second down and short. And do you air it out here on second down?
Now might be a good situation, too, since you're facing a second and short, because the defense is going to be keyed on to the run. So now might be the time. The last time they did it, they had a 2nd and 7 and looked like the defense was ready for it.
David Douglas split out wide left. Cameron Eubanks in the slot. On the far sideline is Aiden Williams. And Olsen, the tight end, in the slot. This is Barrett up the middle, busting and rumbling his way through, crossing the 32-yard line. Enough for the first down. Move the sticks, Chase Barrett.
I mean, he's impressed me with his little frame and his just ability to shake off tackles. He had 2 guys holding on to him, and somehow he managed to break him.
In a dogfight here, no pun intended. 5:50 left to go. 7-0 McKinney on top. McKinney North moves the chains once again. 1st and 10. Eric Herbal in shotgun formation. Chase Barrett stands to his right side. 2 men either side. On 1st down and 10. This is Herbal looking out left side. Wants to throw. Now under pressure. Now he tucks it and runs it. Casey Cooley jumps on his back, but Herbal is able to gain about 3 or 4 yards.
Well, it looked like he had a miscommunication with his receivers to the left side. He was expecting one of them to break out of the pattern, and they both ran flies of greater than 10 yards. And then Herbal didn't have time in the pocket, so he tucked it up, and was able to gain 3 yards. So a solid decision there by Herbal.
5:05 in the second quarter. 7-0 McKinney on top. 2nd down and 7 for McKinney. Shotgun formation. Barrett moves now to his left. It's going to be a handoff. Chase Barrett up the middle. Not a lot of running room there. Flag is thrown in the middle of the pile as Barrett gained about 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 5 pending the flag.
Well, expanding on your point a minute ago about it being dogfight, technically, couldn't you say it's a cat and dog fight out there?
I guess you could there, Brandon.
Of course, you probably wouldn't. Only I would do that.
That was terrible.
Let's go back to football now. The penalty there was on McKinney. And we'll wait to see. It looked like a face mask call, but it's only going to be the 5-yard variety. And it was a gain of 2 there by Chase Barrett, so they're going to be awfully close to the first down.
That 5-yard variety is very close, and now the official will wave for the first down. The referees tonight, Terry Mayfield, the ref. The umpire is Robert Reed. The head lines judge is Reggie Andrews. The line judge is David Stephen. The back judge, Greg Smith. And these guys are out of the Dallas chapter tonight. 1st down and 10, 4:52 left to go in the second quarter. 7-0 McKinney on top over McKinney North. This is McKinney North in shotgun formation at their own 42-yard line. Herbal drops back. Plenty of time. Throws left side. David Douglas is caught and dropped immediately just shy of the midfield stripe at the 49-yard line. Still in McKinney North territory, but a nice strike there from Herbal.
Yeah, that's something he needed. Right now I'm not sure how his confidence is, but a nice completion. That's a gain of 7. Puts his passing total to 10. All he needs is to put a couple completions in a row of any kind of variety, and then they should be in good shape.
Well, he had plenty of time to throw that time. He was back there in the pocket. It was a very nice sealed pocket for him. Just looked left side and threw it right over there. This is Eubanks in motion. They're going to hand off to him. Cuts it up inside 50, 45, trying to find the inside corner and knocked over and fumbles the football at the 33. Picked up by McKinney's Eddie Morgan. Makes a cut at the 35-30, 25-20. Eddie Morgan's going to stroll into the end zone, and it's touchdown time in Texas. Eddie Morgan on a 67-yard fumble return. And McKinney all of a sudden has a 2-touchdown lead in this football game.
Well, he tried to do just a bit too much. Eubanks was spinning and juking. However, on his last spin, he was caught by the safety coming up and laying a helmet on him. Cade Keith knocked that one loose, and then Eddie Morgan picked it up and ran all the way for 69 yards and a touchdown. Right now, McKinney's cruising in this one. They have all the momentum in the world. And now we have a penalty flag, and there hasn't even been a snap for the point after. It looked like both sides were still on their side of the line of scrimmage, and I didn't see any jawing back and forth. But I thought I saw out of the corner of my eye laundry coming up, and right now there's 3 officials huddling inside the North huddle. And it looks like they're pointing against McKinney, so it's not going to – they're waving it off.
Well, the flag has been waved off. We'll attempt the PAT here, 13-0 right now. McKinney on top over McKinney North. as Patrick Kleinenberg will have the tee set up for him right at the 10-yard line. It will be Ryan Packard to hold. The deep snapper for McKinney. And this kick is up and no good. It looked like a good snap from McKinney's Brandon Ogletree. And it looked like a good hold, but Kleinenberg just must have pushed it. It was wide right. 13-0. That could come back to haunt McKinney. 3:50 left to go before half. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. 13-0. McKinney Lions are on top of McKinney North here in the Crosstown Showdown. McKinney just got on the board there with a 67-yard Eddie Morgan fumble return as Cameron Eubanks had a great run up the middle, cut it back. He was flipped over end. The ball popped out. Eddie Morgan picked it up, took it to the house.
Well, and you can't really blame him too much. You do got to hang on to the ball just a bit better than that. But he made a spin move and was caught in the gut, and that's tough to do. And it's tough to hang on to a ball when you're losing your air because there's a helmet ride going up and underneath your shoulder pads and you're being flown through the air.
It was a great call by McKinney North, and it was executed very nicely. It's just one of those plays where you get flipped up end over end like that, and the ball can pop out.
And the thing is, if Case Keith doesn't force that fumble, it's a touchdown for North, too.
3:50 left to go for the Beef O'Brady's kickoff here. And the kick is going to sail out of bounds. I thought for a moment McKinney was going to be able to get on that football. We want to say thanks to Beef O'Brady's. They've been a major sponsor of this Crosstown Showdown. They've been a major sponsor of the Wednesday night coaches show. Beef O'Brady's has been a big sponsor of the kickoffs all year, and I know Larry Lindsay over there loves the Beef O'Brady's kickoffs, and he loves to hear it when McKinney North scores a lot and when McKinney scores a lot, because Beef O'Brady's is obviously mentioned a lot. And we, and they should be. We go over there on Wednesday night, and, man, do they feed us well.
It's good stuff over there. Been to several Beef O'Brady's in the area. I give it a thumbs up.
3:50 left to go here in the second quarter. We're going to kick this one over as that one sailed out of bounds. McKinney moving left to right. McKinney North going to take over here and head on their offense. Go ahead, Brandon.
And with the penalty now, that pretty much can rule out a pooch kick, because instead of kicking it at the 40, it's at the 35. So if you pooch it, McKinney North takes over near the 40. So you pretty much have to put a leg into this one.
Kenny McGowan and Cameron Buford are back deep, standing at the 15-yard line, as I don't think a soul has left in this place.
Oh, no. Boy, if you leave it now, you don't know.
I look across this place, and I'm telling you, it is just packed.
The only people that have left their seats are the band.
Over on the far side, they're packed too deep on the chain link fence underneath the scoreboard. Here's the kickoff once again, and it's a high pooch kick, going to be taken at the 30-yard line by Justin Janow. Tries to escape. Actually, that's Brandon Dunn. Moves towards the middle. The ball was on the turf for a second.
Hey, he bumped his own man.
He was able to recover. And that was Janow.
And that's a situation where North dodges a bullet there, because think about this. With all the momentum McKinney has right now, you turn it over on the kickoff.
McKinney North will take over at their own 33-yard line.
Well, if you're a North fan, you're hoping for some kind of offensive momentum here.
3:45 before half, and if you're a North fan, you want to score before the half. This is Herbal. He's going to run the option out to the left side and decides to keep it at the 35, up to the 37-yard line. Gain of about 4 on the play. It'll be second down and 6 at the 37.
One of my favorite players on McKinney's side, Casey Cooley, did a great job coming from his end position. It looked like Herbal had a hole because there was a seal block outside by Boblitz, but Casey Cooley basically hog-ties Herbal to the ground.
Speaking of Boblitz, he'll come near side. Split out wide left. Man goes in motion. That's Cameron Eubanks, and this is going to be a handoff. Chase Barrett running right tackle. Has a hole for a moment and then goes down after picking up the first down at the 48-yard line, just before the midfield stripe, with 3:09 left to go before the half. Some scores to pass along. Hebron and Lake Dallas are locked up at 0. Can you believe that?
I'm wondering if they haven't got an updated score on that.
First down and 10 for McKinney North after the big run by Chase Barrett there. As Barrett will stand to the left side of Eric Herbal. Eubanks goes in motion. They hand off to Eubanks once again. He cuts it up inside. Big hole, 45. And just at the last minute, J.D. Dowling drags him down, or he was gone.
I thought he was gone. Give a lot of credit to Dowling. He's a linebacker, but he's a quick linebacker.
If it were not for J.D. Dowling on that play, it would right now be 13-6, and the McKinney North crowd would be going nuts.
Well, they've got reason to be optimistic. 2 plays in a row, they've netted greater than 10 yards. That one gives them another first start.
First down and 10 for McKinney North, 13-0, trailing here to McKinney. Chase Barrett in motion, backside, now has the right tackle, running backwards for a few yards and inside the 30 down to the, well, they're going to mark him right at the 30, and that's going to be close to another first down, about 2 yards shy.
You know, the thing that impresses me so far about Chase Barrett, it's been about 3 weeks since we've seen him, and I think this is where his game has gotten a lot better. He runs it inside more. He could have taken that to the outside and probably gained 5. It would have been a decent carry, but instead he goes up the middle and he knows he's going to take a hit, but he gets a couple extra yards.
Chase Barrett, a junior on this football team, and he will get the ball this time, running out right tackle again, has the first down as he crosses the 25, and he is down right there. 1:58 left to go, and they will move the sticks once again.
Only a gain of 6 on that play. However, Chase Barrett again had the opportunity to go to the outside. Instead, what he does is he cuts it back up again, and he gets extra yardage because of it. I'm very impressed by that.
1:51 left to go here before the half. This is going to be Cameron Eubanks once again running in the slot on that reverse. Nowhere to go this time as they finally sniff it out. J.D. Dowling is there, or Cates Keith rather, is there to stop him right at the 21-yard line.
Remember the first game of the year for North against Denison. They found a lot of success with that play with Eubanks coming out of the motion from the right side going to the left, but McKinney Lions are just not letting him get to the corner.
1:22 on the clock before half. Chase Barrett stands to Herbal's left. He's going to get the ball, runs, cuts it back up the middle. He's got the 10, and he's down right at the 10. They're going to mark him right there. I thought for a moment he was going to cross and scoot over to about the 8, but down at the 10, and what do? You got to call a timeout here. You got 1:12. You're going to stop the clock momentarily to move the chains. It'll be 1st and 10. McKinney North's really going to have to pressure it here to get in the end zone before the half. Clock rolling, 1:09, 1:08, trying to get the play in. Herbal in shotgun formation, sends a man in motion from right to left. This is handed off. Chase Barrett running 5, barreling his way towards the end zone. The ball is on the turf in the end zone. McKinney may have recovered, and they say yes, McKinney has recovered in the end zone. Chase Barrett fumbles at the 1-yard line. After taking it all the way down there, Chase Barrett fumbles, and McKinney has come away with the football in the end zone.
That is huge.
Unbelievable.
Especially after Chase Barrett has been hit so many times with the intent of causing a fumble, and he's held on. He just couldn't do it on that one. And unfortunately for us, it happened at one of the farthest positions we can see. Our press box is on the McKinney North 40, and of course they're playing in the McKinney side and has to go on to the opposite side of the field, so I didn't see exactly what happened.
It was
there.
hard to see on the far sideline, and it's one of those that I'm sure it looked like he might have been down. It was one of those that if they had instant replay in high school, that probably would have been challenged. Here's a run up the middle for McKinney, and down immediately is Zane Alcorn as he just tucked it up and ran up the middle.
Well, he fumbled the snap.
He's trying to, I'm sure McKinney's just trying to get out of here with the lead here before the half ends at the 20-yard line. Is when they recovered the fumble in the end zone, automatically brought the ball out to the 20-yard line. That's where we're at, 2nd down and 10.
Yes, they almost turned it and gave it right back to North there, but Alcorn was at least heads up enough to jump on it and then at least move forward for a yard.
20 seconds on the clock before the half. Alcorn under center. He's going to turn around and hand to Maxwell. Big hole left side for a moment. And it closes up as it crosses the 25-yard line. 10 seconds on the clock before the half. 13-0. McKinney on top, and this McKinney home side is just about to erupt as they lead this football game as time expires here in the first half. 13-0. McKinney running to the locker room. We're going to try to talk to Teddy Sappho, see if he can round up Coach Todd McVeigh. And as soon as he does, we'll just go ahead and put him on.
Looks like
Coach, your team right now, they have a lot of momentum. What's going on with your team?
You just said it's all about a team. One guy goes down, next guy's got to step up. Calvin's come in there and done a great job, and we have complete confidence in him, and we're just going to keep doing what we do.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy Sappho, and got to be happy with this one if you're a McKinney Lions fan, 13-0, and we're expecting a great halftime performance from both McKinney and McKinney North joining their bands together and playing one rendition together, and that ought to be exciting here at McKinney ISD Stadium.
It goes back to that friendly rivalry, two guys who are rivals but doing things together. That's pretty nice to see.
Well, two things that are not together right now are the scoreboard, the points on the opposite side of the scoreboard. 13-0, McKinney leads right now on top of McKinney North. We're going to take a quick timeout. You know what? We're going to treat you. We're going to let you listen to last year's highlights of the Crosstown Showdown. It's under My Town, and we'll talk about that. It has the backdrop of My Town. We're going to let you listen to that here coming up right after this break. Back in a moment, 13-0, McKinney on top at MISD Stadium on K-Lake FM. Welcome back to the halftime show. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. We want to thank a lot of our sponsors, Square One Mortgage, Troy Aikman Ford, Beef O'Brady's, McKinneySports.net, among others. We really want to thank those guys. This could not be made possible without some of those sponsors. To some scores to pass along. Newman Smith is down. Richardson Pierce is down to Jesuit. Terrell over Hillcrest, 7-0. Mansfield over Fort Pascal, 14-0. Keller getting beat by Fossil Ridge, 10-0. And we were trying to check on that Hebron score again. And Highland Park all over Lincoln, 38-7. Denton Ryan losing to Grapevine, 17-14. Still no score. Hebron and Lake Dallas. And I tell you what, it's got to be an updated score, you'd think, by this point. Mount Pleasant over Sherman, 10-7. And, of course, last night, Justin Northwest, 46 over Keller Central's 21. So already one district game here in 9-4A has been determined. We're about to determine another one with another 24 minutes of play here at McKinney ISD Stadium. And I tell you what, Brandon, this is probably one of the better, it's probably better than one of the halftime shows. And I tell you what, both bands are about to play together, I believe. And let's go ahead. This is the Lions Marching Band. Let's give you a little taste of this. The McKinney Lions Marching Band putting on a show here tonight. They are the home crowd, even though it is both McKinney versus McKinney North. Last year, McKinney North was the home team in the first ever Crosstown Showdown. McKinney High, the visiting team, they flip-flop it this year. And I tell you what, McKinney High has got to be happy with their 13-0 lead. They've taken advantage of a lot of McKinney North early miscues and penalties and fumbles and things like that.
Well, there's one stat that I like to look at. And what's going on? Am I good? All right, well, one stat you like to look at, actually two, penalties and turnovers. And right now McKinney is none in both categories. And McKinney North, 4 penalties, 40 yards, and one of them directly led to a touchdown by allowing a drive to continue when they had him down to a 4th down situation. And then on top of that, there have been 2 McKinney North fumbles. And one led directly to a touchdown, and one led directly to a non-McKinney North touchdown when they would have had a second goal at the 1. So those 2 have really hurt them. We could be looking at a 7-7 game if it had not been for the penalties and turnovers.
13-0 right now. We're going to take another timeout and be back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. And we're awaiting the end of the halftime show. This is a classic here in McKinney. Pandemonium, even at halftime. You know, there's some people getting up, getting coffee, and, well, they may not be getting coffee tonight. It's not quite football weather as it was yesterday. Yesterday would have been the perfect game to play this.
Yeah, I wouldn't have sweated all the way down 75 like I did earlier today, and then getting everything set up. It would have been nice and cool. And I tell you, the players, when they do their thing before a game, sure do appreciate that cold weather.
Absolutely. And that's, to me, when I was playing, that was when it really got fun, is when it got cold, because those were that's when games really started meaning something, and it's just a more fun atmosphere.
Well, some of my fondest memories come from cold weather games. It just seems like players elevate their play when it gets cold weather outside, and that was the case for me. And I can tell you what, that's when they do become meaningful, as you said, but when they become meaningful, also elevate your play. And football just needs to be played in cool weather.
Well, we're awaiting, like I said, I mentioned the end of halftime, and we are awaiting for the end of the halftime show. But let's, we've recapped this thing. But I tell you what, this thing is so close on so many big plays in this first half. J.D. Dowling might have been one of the biggest plays in the half when he grabbed Cameron Eubanks down. Cameron Eubanks was shot out of a cannon on that reverse, and if it were not for J.D. Dowling, the entire game would be different right now.
Yeah, because McKinney North would eventually fumble on that possession to end their last possession of the first half at the 1-yard line of all places to fumble. And remember, Justin Northwest got the ball down to the 1-yard line a few times last year, or last game rather, 3 times to be specific, and came away with 3 points, and that was the case here already. So I'm telling you, the McKinney defense may not be as bad compared to last year as you might initially thought. I'm telling you, that non-district schedule was fairly tough, and they really made McKinney North between the 30s, let them do what they want. But once they got close to the 30, that's when the defense would buckle down.
For the first time tonight, former athletic director Rusty Dowling has sit down. He is right in front of us, and he's actually sitting down. And as I look out the window here at the press box at MISD Stadium, out in the crowd in the concession area, there are probably 300 people just roaming around out there. And I say last year was a large crowd. I think this one may even be bigger.
Well, it's the second year. Rivalries get better as time progresses, especially since both expectations for the team are pretty high. McKinney North has some lofty expectations, as McKinney does every year, and so that puts added meaning to this game.
As the McKinney North Bulldogs come back out on the field, Teddy Saffo will try to round up Coach Sean Pratt when he comes out, and we'll try to see what he had a chance to say to his team at the half, down 13-0 in this crosstown showdown. McKinney Lions looked the greatest thing about the McKinney Lions in the first half probably was the fact that they got punched in the mouth, like I mentioned during the game. They absolutely got punched in the mouth when they lost Chris Wimbish, and he left the game, and he has not been heard from since. But they got up, and they punched McKinney North right back in the mouth with their backup running back, Calvin Maxwell.
Well, and that's the thing that makes you do a second guess. McKinney's up 13-0, and Wimbish is out. Remember at the pregame show, I said they're going to have to do something to complement Chris Wimbish. Not only did they have to do something to do that, they had to replace him, and that's even tougher to do. And they really have done a decent complement with Zane Alcorn going 3 of 5 for 29 yards and spreading the ball around effectively. So McKinney North's back on their heels. They know they can't just now key on the running back.
Calvin Maxwell came into this game 5 carries and 17 yards on the season. He now has that in the game, at least 5 carries, and he has a lot more yards than that.
Well, I can give you 9 for 59 total.
Zane Alcorn coming into the game on the season was 9 out of 17 passing, 2 interceptions and 41 yards. And, Eric Herbal does that on a nightly basis, throws 17 passes.
Zane Alcorn, sorry to cut you off there, Monty, but has now upped his season total by 1/3 in one game.
Eric Herbal on the year came into this football game, 38 passes completed out of 71 attempted, 3 interceptions, 792 yards, which is 4th in the area, and 5 touchdowns, which is 12th in the area. And, teams do things differently. One team, Sean Pratt, likes to balance it out and maybe throw it down the field a lot more, where Todd McVeigh is your run-it-down-your-throat, old I-formation type of football coach.
Well, you almost wonder if that's been Pratt's Achilles heel, as his wishes to spread out the offense when they've got a guy like Chase Barrett, 14 carries, 107 yards. Well, there's really no need to spread it out because the spread out hasn't worked, and when they've gone away from Chase Barrett is when drives have stalled. Now, granted, he did fumble at the 1-yard line, but that's not going to happen very often.
We're going to see if Teddy Sappho has been able to corral, and he has not yet. He's I see him on the sidelines. He's probably trying to find Coach Pratt, but I don't see him yet. Anyway, we'll talk to Teddy as soon as he has a chance to talk to Coach Pratt. Maybe he just got some words from him. We'll see. But the McKinney Marquettes are out on the field. They just got through doing their performance. We're going to take a quick timeout. Be back in a moment with more McKinney High School football on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to MISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and Teddy Sappho. We're going to let you listen to the two bands. They're performing together. Let's give you a little sample of that. McKinney North High Band and the McKinney High Band together. And now they just quit, as I was going to give them some plugs there, and they just stopped.
Well, you couldn't tell it was two bands performing because usually to get a band synced up and on time, it requires lots of practice. And I used to be a member of the band a long time ago.
It's very strange to see half the band on the field come this way and half the band go the other way. But we are about to check up with Teddy Sappho. Go ahead, Teddy.
Coach Pratt, right now your team is down 13-0. What did you tell your team during your halftime speech?
Well, I said we got to start playing. We got to make plays. I mean, just focus and execute. I mean, we have moved the football. I feel good about what we're doing up front on both sides of the ball. But you can't fumble the football and give them a touchdown, and you can't fumble the football going into the end zone like that and give it up another score. We got to. I mean, I was very relaxed with them. I told them to relax and let's play football, guys. I mean, we got to go make plays.
Thanks, Coach, for your time.
All right.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy Sappho down on the sidelines, and he's exactly right. He's got to be happy with what's going on down on the field with his front seven on both sides of the ball.
Well, they've outgained McKinney 146 to 143. Now, granted, that's just 3 yards, but that's still something that you can put your hat on. But again, it all goes back to discipline. Right now, McKinney's just playing with a higher level of discipline by not turning it over, not committing dumb penalties. Because face it, you have them down to a 4th down and you commit a personal foul, that's a dumb penalty. And that's led directly to a touchdown by Calvin Maxwell, who would later, the very next play, spring it for 50-plus yards and then would run into the end zone 2 plays later. And that's just play you can't afford to do in a game like this because McKinney has momentum, McKinney has the swagger, and then you commit a dumb penalty, that just helps them.
Ryan Packard and Blake Boblitz shake hands at midfield as they discuss the rules of the second half, and McKinney North will be defending the south end zone and moving left to right. Of course, that means the McKinney Lions will come out defending the north end zone, moving right to left as, old athletic director Rusty Dowling is back on his feet.
Yeah, I don't imagine he'll sit down much longer, but remember McKinney North deferred the first half kickoff to take it here in the second, so they will open up with possession first. And, they do have to take solace in the fact, minus the dumb penalties, their defense has played pretty well.
It really has. As McKinney comes back out on the field, and McKinney North still in their helmet. They will be breaking through and running through that here momentarily, and that North crowd will go nuts once again. Even though they're down 13-0, that North crowd will go nuts, and here they are. The McKinney North Bulldogs making their way through their tunnel, their big Bulldog blow-up tunnel as they make their way on the field. We will be underway momentarily. We'll take a quick 1-minute timeout. Be back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. McKinney North about to receive this football here on the Beef O'Brady's kickoff as Patrick Kleinenberg teeing it up on the 40-yard line. Back deep for McKinney North is Kenny McGowan and Cameron Buford standing at their own 10-yard line.
It's not a must score now, but this is definitely an opportunity for the McKinney North to just make a statement early on their first offensive possession and at least put something on the scoreboard.
It would be a great chance for McKinney North to, it's one of those, this is one of those swing touchdowns. If McKinney scores the next touchdown, it could be detrimental for North, but if North scores it, it's another football game. And this is a high pooch kick going to be taken by Cameron Eubanks. There's a scramble for the football as he was hit about the time he caught it. It might have actually been Brandon Dunn who tried to catch that. I thought for a moment that it was Cameron Eubanks, but I don't think Eubanks is out there.
Well, that's a situation where he was hit while he was fielding that, but it's not going to be a penalty because he was hit by his own man, going backwards to set up a block. So North did recover. They dodged the bullet there, but they got to be a little bit more communicative, if that's not a word. But they're out front, just communicate with each other and say, hey, I've got this one, back up, clear, keep space, whatever, to try to avoid that in the future because McKinney will pooch kick it just about every time.
First down and 10 for McKinney North, moving left to right now, moving towards that north end zone. And it will be starting out Eric Herbal at quarterback at his own 31-yard line. They're going to hand off up the middle. Chase Barrett once again crosses the 35 out to the 36. And I said he started at his 31, but the line of scrimmage was actually the 33-yard line. So a gain of about 4, second down and 6 coming up. We're just underway in the second half, 13-0. McKinney on top here over McKinney North.
Well, Chase Barrett had 14 first-half carries, and I think if North needs to be successful on offense, he's got to get up to around 34-35 for the game.
Herbal in shotgun formation, low snap, digs it, throws it out left side, batted down at the line of scrimmage, and Casey Cooley gets his big paws up in the air and watch that one down. It'll be third down.
Second pass defense on the night for Casey Cooley. He's doing his job in pass defense. But I'm wondering again, why go away from something that's working in Chase Barrett? You have a second and 6, you give him the ball, and you've got a third and short most times. And now you pass it, it's incomplete, and now it's a third and 6, and you basically have no option but to pass.
Cameron Buford wide to the right, and this will be shotgun, and Herbal's in trouble now, has to throw it out to Buford, and he's in trouble and just kind of tosses it out there incomplete. It'll be fourth down and punting time, and not a very good statement by McKinney North coming out of halftime there.
I'm telling you, don't go away from Chase Barrett. Right now, he's about the only thing. When you have a quarterback who's 2 of 6 and now is 2 of 8, you really need to have a running game right now because the passing game is just so ineffective.
Well, McKinney High will get the football back here in great position as McKinney North will punt in their own territory. It'll be Brandon Dunn punting all the way back from probably his 25-yard line. And inside his 25, actually, as he'll stand at the 23. So fourth down and 6 here, moving left to right.
Looks like McKinney's might be setting up a rush here.
Back deep for McKinney on the punt return as Darian Royal stands at his own 24-yard line. This is a pressured punt, but he gets it away. Darian Royal makes the catch at the 31, comes left side, flag down. He's at the 38, 40, 45, 50, cuts it back inside, dances, and is down at the 45-yard line. A nice return, but check the flag. We'll see what it is.
You don't need to check it. It's going to be a legal block in the back on McKinney. Coyle Permeter was down there on coverage, and he got buried in the back. He had no chance. He was planted face first in the turf to negate that return. It'll be first down McKinney, but instead of being inside North territory, they're going to be inside their own 30.
Well, it'll be first down for McKinney, and we'll see what happens here.
The referees are discussing, but I don't know what's to discuss. He was clearly buried face first by getting hit in the back. Right now they're still discussing. I'm stupefied as to what the discussion is over. It shouldn't be that hard. I clearly saw it up here, and I know the umpire did. Oh, illegal procedure on McKinney North. So we got offsetting penalties here. Now, this is a situation where they're just going to have to punt it again. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Me not being the smart guy that I am didn't even come into factor that there might have been a penalty on North. So we'll wait and see now what's going to happen. All right, they're offset, so they should punt again, I would think. Oh, well, all right. It looked like they declined the penalty on McKinney North, but kept the penalty on McKinney. I guess so. I guess McKinney's just rather thinking about taking the ball right now instead of forcing a punt. I find that odd, but okay. Oh, McKinney will take over now, and this time they place the ball at the 21-yard line, and that's where they'll begin their first possession of the second half.
Well, it'll be first and actually, well, McKinney is going to have the ball at the 20-yard line. I formation for Alcorn. First and 10, 11:03 left to go here in the second quarter. Just underway. Handoff up the middle. Calvin Maxwell. Big hole. Escapes a tackler. 30, 35, 40. Tries to cut it inside. Two McKinney North defenders were on his back. Kenny McGowan and James San Miguel drag him down, but not after he picks up good yardage out to the 45-yard line near midfield.
One thing to describe North, every now and then they just have a bad tackling performance, and Bo Burns had Maxwell wrapped up, just could not bring him down, and that's one he probably should have.
Maxwell looks very well replacing Chris Wimbish in this football game. Again, if you're just joining us, Chris Wimbish left the game right before the second quarter with what we think might have been an ankle injury. As Dominic Sweeney goes in motion, handoff Maxwell, and he is busted by Justin Janow at the line of scrimmage. He's going to actually lose a yard. Janow really came up from his defensive tackle position and leveled Maxwell.
And that's what they have been able to do, is get penetration into the McKinney backfield. But when they don't do that, then they have a hard time making an open field tackle. So if you're North, you need to keep hoping that your defensive line can penetrate the offensive line of McKinney.
Second down and 11 from the McKinney 44. McKinney has the ball moving right to left. Alcorn, handoff, Maxwell up the middle, busting his way through to the 47-yard line. And it'll be third down, and a pretty crucial third down, I guess. Not so much as crucial for McKinney as it would be for McKinney North, but a flag is down, and it will go against McKinney.
Dead ball personal foul, this time on McKinney. So what's likely to happen is they're going to lose the down. They'll keep what happened there on second down, and then so it would have been 2nd and 9, and then add 15 to it. So we're going to be looking at a third and a very long.
Chris Zilmer checks in for Dominic Sweeney at the tight end position. And now this will be very, very long. And they're going to mark the ball at the 31-yard line.
Well, tempers are flaring, Monty.
Second down and 24 here for McKinney with 9:50 left to go in the third quarter. Brett Anderson is into the game at fullback now. Calvin Maxwell dots the I. It's actually an offset I. Power to the left side. One receiver to the right is Michael Peters. Zilmer in the slot, and Corbin Lewis split out wide left. This is Alcorn, the quarterback. Drops back, wants to throw it out, and flags are down again. And this is starting to get a little ugly.
Looks like it's on McKinney, so now it only gets getting worse and worse. They were looking at a 3rd and 24. And now they're going to be looking at a 3rd and 29. I think in this situation, you just basically tuck your tail between your legs, give up a running play here, try to get some carries back, or rather some yards back, and then punt it away, because there's not a lot in the playbook for a 29-yard gain. They had no penalties in the first half. This is now their third, and we're just now reaching the 3rd-minute mark.
I formation. Well, whistles blow again. It's 3rd and 29, and they're going to call a time. McKinney will call a timeout. We'll take one, too. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. 13-0 McKinney over McKinney North here in the third quarter. McKinney called a timeout right before they got a penalty. This is the Boomerooski to Brett Anderson. Has all the room in the world. 35-40, 45-50, 45-40. 30, 25-20 being chased down, and he is into the end zone. It is touchdown time in Texas. What a call by Coach Todd McVeigh. Where did that come from? The Boomerooski.
74 yards on a 3rd and 29.
What in the world just happened?
that's a dagger.
I haven't seen that play since 1989.
Well, it looks like we just heard from Rusty Dowling a push in the back, so negate it. Just depends on where it is. It will determine whether they get a first down or not. I didn't see it, not as clearly as the last push in the back I saw.
Well, that one will come back. Can you believe
Boy, it
that?
is coming back and back.
Wow.
That was a push. Oh, you know what I bet happened? The end initially passed Brett Anderson, but saw he had the ball just a hair too late and started coming back, but his body was still facing forward. I don't want to speculate, but that looks like that might have been what the case was, although, no, they're not going back that far, so scratch that too.
Was that 77
It would have been
yards?
74 yards.
74 yards. Unbelievable. The Boomerooski.
Yeah, what happened is they looked like they were rolling out to the right side of the formation when they were sending the receivers out and then to the right to clear a path for them. And then basically when Alcorn started his rollout, he basically snuck the ball over to Brett Anderson, who rolled out then to his right side. Anderson stood there, let the pursuit of the defense get past him, and then ran him down the sideline. And right around the 35-yard line was a block in the back.
What's interesting about that play, it looks very strange developing because the fullback, Brett Anderson, takes one step to his right and stands there still as a statue, never moves, and waits for Alcorn, the quarterback, to put the ball in his stomach, basically. And after he gets the ball, he still stands there for a half second and then turns around and takes off running. And when he turned around, boy, did he have a lane.
Well, yeah, and that's designed because it's so weird because you think Anderson doesn't know what he's doing because the defense is pursuing Alcorn. You're like, why don't you turn around and try to get a block there? Now Alcorn's in trouble. And then just as McKinney North realizes just a hair too late, you realize Brett Anderson has the ball.
Not sure if Teddy Sappho can hear us down on the sidelines. I think he's trying to listen in to what's going on in the huddle there. But we'll talk to Teddy here momentarily and see what he saw on the Boomerooski play. As right now, 9:03 left to go in the third quarter. McKinney on top 13-0 after that 74-yard touchdown was called back on the block in the back. And this has been a crosstown classic so far.
Boy, and how do you feel if you're Brett Anderson racing 74 yards as a fullback for a touchdown, only to find there was a penalty that let him get that 74-yard
You know,
touchdown?
what's sad is Brett Anderson is one of those guys, he doesn't see a lot of credit. He's a fullback. He does the dirty work. He plays nose guard at times. He's a down and dirty player. And when a kid gets a 74-yard touchdown like that, you'd like for him to keep it.
Well, at least he'll get an 11-yard carry out of the deal before the penalty negates that any further.
Well, it'll be third down and 23, I think. 9:03 left to go here in the third quarter. As I formation, Alcorn back to pass, throwing out left side, and Jeff Fuller cannot run underneath this. It was overthrown. Brandon Dunn in coverage along with Bo Burns, and it'll be fourth down and punt time. So everything basically that Calvin Maxwell gained on that big run was marked off back in penalties. And unbelievably, talking about McKinney in the first half having no penalties, coming out here in the second half and just penalty everything up.
4 penalties already, and what's odd about that is that was basically a 100-yard drive that didn't get anything but negative, officially 13 yards on the drive.
8:58 left to go in the third quarter. 13-0. This is punt formation, actually. And Ben Martinek is going to punt this time. Kicks an end-over-end punt. It's going to land at the 40. And one of the McKinney Lions touches it. And Kenny Alexander, I believe, recovered for McKinney North. It touched, I believe, Michael Peters. And Kenny Alexander recovered here. And McKinney North will take over at the 48-yard line, just shy of midfield. 8:48 left to go, third quarter. Thank you, Brandon. Just got me some water. Appreciate that. So it'll be
partner.
first down and 10 for McKinney North here. Down 13-0. They have pretty good field position starting out at the 48-yard line, just shy of midfield. Shotgun formation. Eric Herbal in the quarterback, hands off Chase Barrett, running left guard, and he is going to be dragged down after about a 4-yard gain, crosses the midfield stripe. And that's what you want, Brandon, is Chase Barrett.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That did not look like a good gain if he just followed Barrett, but they give the ball to Barrett basically at the line of scrimmage because Herbal is moving forward when he receives the shotgun snap too. and then Barrett's just able to fight off tacklers. So that's a 4-yard gain when it didn't look like much.
Max Butler in the slot. Aiden Williams split out wide right. David Douglas split out left, and this is going to be a handoff. Barrett once again has a big hole. 35 and dragged down at the 33-yard line. A nice gain there, and first down for McKinney North.
Well, they've had that option, and I'm telling you right now, there should be some wind in the sails of McKinney North because of that negated McKinney touchdown. They should be able to see, hey, we dodged a big bullet there, and now they should be able to do something on offense.
First down and 10 for McKinney North. Inside Lion territory at the 33-yard line, down 13-0, moving left to right. Shotgun formation for Herbal. Two receivers left side. Chase Barrett stands behind him, gets the handoff, running right guard, and is met behind the line of scrimmage, dragged down by Brandon Ogletree and J.D. Dowling, the two linebackers working side by side there, along with the other linebacker, Adonis Graham. Brings him down, but he does somehow gain 2 yards.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. He was tackled at the line of scrimmage. He gets 2 yards. He doesn't lose a lot of yardage, and with the amount of breakaways that he can get, you basically should feed Chase Barrett the ball 9 times out of 10 right now.
Second down and 8 as Brandon loves Chase Barrett. 13-0, and this is going to be Herbal on the option. Keeps it 15 or 25 down to the 21-yard line, and he picks up the first down as you hear the McKinney North faithful in appreciation of Eric Herbal and his first down performance there.
Well, and that's a situation where he's not going to get any yards on the carry, but Chase Barrett sold that because the defense keying on him. That allowed Herbal to find a lane, cut it up, and by the time the cornerback realized he was not going to pitch it to Barrett, there was nothing he could do.
One receiver to the near side, two to the left. Shotgun formation, handoff, Chase Barrett up the middle, rumbling and barreling his way across the line of scrimmage, inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line. 6:49 left to go in the third quarter. McKinney North, if they want to really win this football game, they're going to have to start scoring some points here pretty quick.
Well, they're down inside the 20 for the second time in 3 possessions. The first time was at the end of the first half that led to a fumble that McKinney would recover. They got to capitalize here.
They have moved the football all night. Here is Herbal on the option to Barrett, 15, and dragged down at the 12-yard line, very close to a first down, as that one will probably move the sticks. If not, it's really close. And I think it's going to be a little short.
Yeah, 6, and you needed 6.5. But now it's 3.5 a yard, and you have Chase Barrett. You know, just give it to him up the middle. Like I said, he doesn't get tackled for a loss very often. In fact, he hasn't yet tonight.
McKinney North does not go under center at all, but they do run a quarterback sneak. Eric Herbal will run to the line of scrimmage at times, and that's how they run it. This will be a busted snap, and Herbal has to fall on it behind him. It's going to be a loss back to the 17-yard line, and McKinney North has just made mistake after mistake after mistake tonight as the snap was bad, and now the field goal team will come on, and Blake Boblitz will attempt to narrow the gap here from 13-0 to 13-3.
Well, what Herbal was doing was looking at Buford coming in motion from the left side to the right side, and the snap came and he wasn't looking.
A 35-yard field goal as the ball is placed at the 25. Atwell, the holder. Snap is good. It's on the tee. The kick is up. It lips through, and it is no good. It is wide left, but hold everything. There is a flag on the play right behind the kicker.
Yeah, Boblitz hit the ground, so this is either going to be a running or a roughing. And if you're McKinney, you're hoping for a running, because that would not be a first down. It'd be 4th and 2 instead. If it's roughing, it's an automatic first down. And right now there's a lot of conversing going on. In fact, both teams are in the ear of the referee right now. It's against North. Here we go. Personal foul. Fresh down.
Oh, my goodness.
North.
It is a personal foul, as you mentioned, against McKinney. A 15-yard penalty after a missed field goal will put McKinney North in business with 5:14 left to go in the third quarter, down 13-0.
I almost thought I saw offsetting penalties there, which would have negated any penalty. So, all right, so the offense is back in business, Monty. We'll see what they can do here. But again, another penalty by McKinney. They have now 5 in this quarter, and when they had none in the first 2. The sticks haven't moved to adjust where the penalty is. There they go. 10-yard penalty.
Inside the 10-yard line is McKinney North. 5:14 left to go, third quarter, down 13-0. This place is about to absolutely erupt at the seams. Eric Herbal in shotgun formation. Chase Barrett to his left. Option play. Pitches it out to Chase Barrett. Has the 5. Has the end zone. And no signal yet. No signal yet. He is down at the 1-yard line.
Well, that key again made by Barrett. They knew they were going to pitch to Barrett, so the cornerback was keying on Barrett to pitch, and he's like, you know what? He's getting awful close. Let me see if I can go at Herbal. Herbal saw the cornerback starting to cheat his way, pitched it out to Chase Barrett. Barrett ran all the way and got pushed out at the 1-yard line. A good gain on the play, and that now puts him at second and goal at the 1. Remember, they fumbled last time they got to the 1.
They will go with James San Miguel and a power set. He is the fullback. He stands in front in a three-point stance in front of Barrett, who gets the ball running towards the middle, and I don't know if he got in. And now they say yes. It is touchdown time in Texas. McKinney North has cut this lead from 13-0 to 13-6 with a 1-yard Chase Barrett touchdown. And now McKinney North is lining up in the swinging gate. David Douglas is in, and now it looks like the PAT team will come in. For a moment there, I thought they were going to try something fancy, but down 13-6, you'd think, well,
Yeah, 13-8 doesn't get you much versus 13-7.
Atwell, the holder. Boblitz, of course, the all-world kicker on for the PAT, sends this one high and through, and it is true. 13-7. McKinney North cuts this lead. Guess what? Flag on the play.
Oh, give me Christmas. Legal procedure against North, so that'll back it up. But with Blake, you don't have to exhale just too hard. Still hold your breath, but generally this guy makes it. But again, penalties abound here right now in this half. Neither team playing excessively well, discipline-wise.
You know, we talked to Teddy Saffo about his predictions in this game, and he thought it would be low scoring, and we kind of laughed at him and said, these teams will put up some points tonight. It's going to be a thriller. And right now it's 13-6 in the third quarter with 5:01 left to go. We'll see about all that scoring, but right now it's a defensive struggle, and McKinney North is back in this football game as the extra point now from the 15 is up, and it is still good. So McKinney North has cut this lead to 6, 13-7 with 5:01 left to go in the third. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and Teddy Saffo. We've got a thriller here in McKinney. 5:01 left to go in the third. 13-7, and if you didn't get a ticket for this one, shame on you. But I guess the good part is you can listen to us on 97.5. You can also listen online at www.klake.com. If you have some family in the out-of-state area or around surrounding the Metroplex out of the 97.5 area, tell them about klake.com. They can go on and listen online every Friday night. Also, if you want to talk to us up here in the booth, you can email us at mckinneybooth@klake.com. That's mckinneybooth@klake.com as we prepare for the Beef O'Brady's kickoff, and it is another pooch kick. It's going to be taken at the 31-yard line by Dominique Sweeney, who shakes and bakes a little and rumbles his way out to the 40-yard line, and McKinney Lions will take over at their own 40 with 4:56 left to go in the third quarter.
I don't understand why they're doing that. Blake's got a huge leg on him, and at any moment he could take it down for a touchback. The only thing I can think of is they're trying to make it an extended onside kick by forcing the up men forward, thinking that there is an onside kick and then kicking it over their heads. But that does, right now McKinney's got it at the 41. That doesn't make sense to me.
One thing that I think that they were a little concerned about is kicking it deep to Corbin Lewis and some of those guys back there, Darian Royal and Chris Wimbish when he's in, but Chris Wimbish is out.
They have the ball now at the 41. That's accomplishing the same thing as a big return.
What they're trying to do is actually cause a fumble and get on the ball. This will be first down and 10 at their own 41. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. This is a toss left side. Maxwell cuts it back in and gains 5 yards out to the 46-yard line. Dragged down there by Kenny Alexander, the linebacker by McKinney North.
Well, I admonished him earlier in the game when he allowed Wimbish to get outside of him, but Zach Plummer did a good job from his strong end, defensive end position by not allowing Maxwell to cut it outside. Instead, he kept us contained and forced Maxwell inside for only a gain of 5.
Jeff Fuller again split out wide left. Michael Peters split wide left, and Dominic Sweetie goes in motion. This is a handoff up the middle. Maxwell once again fighting, and he is nailed. He had great yardage and a great pop, but he was actually busted up there by the McKinney North's Kyle Tier, and Brandon Dunn just popped him right before he was able to get to the first down marker. It'll be third down and short. Call it 3rd and 2 from the 49-yard line, just shy of midfield.
Well, we'll give the Calvin Maxwell Century Watch going. He's got 92 yards after this, but more importantly right now, McKinney's just looking for 2 to move the change.
Last year in this game, Chris Wimbish had 197 yards. He is not in the game right now. He is out with an injury. 3rd and 2. This is going to be a toss left. Maxwell cuts it back inside, has the first down, crosses the midfield stripe down to the 46-yard line in McKinney North territory, and this crowd is absolutely going nuts.
Well, they needed 2 and got 5. Maxwell's been very efficient. He's averaging about 6 yards a carry. And if you can get that out of your tailback, not only that, your backup tailback, you're doing fine.
That says something about the offensive line for McKinney High. Chris Holler, Justin Philpy, Michael Conley, Jared Thompson, and Kevin Holler up front. And no, don't forget about Chris Zilmer. You call him a tight end, but he's really in the slot position. But Dominic Sweeney has played a lot tonight, and you have to give some credit to Sweeney up front too.
Another penalty by McKinney North, a 5-yard face mask, and moves the ball down to the 41.
1st and 10, 3:20 on the clock before the 4th quarter. 2 receivers split out wide. Handoff up the middle. Maxwell cuts it back left side. Bo Burns has him, trying to drag him down before he gains any more yards, but he does gain 5 out to the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5, and now Calvin Maxwell is playing the role of Chase Barrett, just 5 yards at a time.
Well, yeah, and he's doing it very efficiently. Again, he's not going to make as many big plays as Chris Wimbish, you wouldn't think, being the backup and being the underclassman to Wimbish, but if you can get 5 yards every carry, that's all you need.
2:45 and rolling here in the 3rd quarter. McKinney on top 13-7 and trying to fight for some more cushion in this football game. Moving right to left is McKinney. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. Peters wide right, actually. And this is a toss right side. Maxwell has the first down inside the 30 down to the 26-yard line. And with 2:25 to go before the 4th quarter, McKinney seems to be in business here on offense, just moving the chains and moving the chains and moving the chains.
Well, Kevin Maxwell now over 100 yards. He did that on the previous play, but with that 9-yard gainer there, is now at 111 for the game. And this is as a backup.
You were talking about the Thunder 6 earlier, where I understand we may have a thunderstorm watch here in the area, and we'll try to keep you posted on that. Here's a toss left side. Calvin Maxwell, left tackle, barrels his way for another 3, 4, 5 yards inside the 25 down to the 22-yard line. 1:55 and rolling before the 4th quarter. McKinney on top 13-7. The Lions will stand in an offset huddle. They don't really circle up, but they're all holding hands. And now they gather up towards the middle. They all look to the sidelines. They relay the play in, and then they gather up in the middle, discuss it, make sure they have the right one, back out, and now it's I formation. Alcorn goes under center, sends Brett Anderson in motion to the right side. Toss right side. Calvin Maxwell fights his way inside and is busted at the line of scrimmage. A great play by Colton Floyd, the junior linebacker. Floyd was right there, made the stop. Colt 45, if you will, makes the stop, and it will bring up a 3rd down and a crucial 6. I know McKinney wants to try to fight it right here and add some more points But with 1:02 and rolling here in the third quarter, they're going to have a big play here on 3rd and 6.
Well, the thing that I've been wondering about is I was wondering if the defensive line of North was starting to get wore down because they had a lot of penetration early, but not on this drive. But that was definitely a penetration play there.
5 on the play clock. 4, 3, 2, 1. They get it off. Toss left side, Maxwell. He had a lot of room towards the outside, but he cut it back inside and had nowhere to go once he cut it back in. They're going to mark him down at the 21, and Maxwell may be running out of gas a little bit. There's an injured McKinney North player down on the field, and that is your linebacker over there, Zach Plummer, and we'll check on him momentarily with 29 seconds left to go in the third quarter. McKinney up 13-7. We'll check the injury, but we'll talk about Calvin Maxwell. It looked for a moment that he might be out of gas on that play.
Well, he's done nothing but carry the ball the whole time, which, that can be sometimes jaded because the offensive line has to block every play. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but Maxwell basically is running at full speed and taking the hits, whereas the offensive linemen take the hits out of the stance. So that could mean something, and actually there's a player down too, so wait and see.
Yeah, it's Zach Plummer. And Teddy Sappho down on the sidelines has been running all over the place down there, and I don't know if Teddy has seen anything that we haven't. Teddy, are you there? It's going to be really hard for Teddy to hear us down there. It's still, even when things aren't going on, it's still very, very loud down there, especially on the field. And it looks like this might be an extended timeout. We're going to take one, too. Back in a moment. 29 seconds left to go. As now, hold everything. Zach Plummer gets up. Every time that happens and you want to go take a timeout and a quick break, maybe an extended timeout, player hops right up and runs off the field.
Which is good.
I saw a player one time, they were running out of time, and a player actually went down and had an injury, and it stopped the clock, and his team needed a first down, and the kid pops right up and runs off the field, and they were able to salvage the game because of that. I don't know if that's obviously that didn't happen here.
Well, the fourth down here, and McKinney's setting up for a field goal, which would be much needed points and make it more than a one-possession game again.
Ball's on the 27, which means a 37-yard field goal. Kleinenberg's kick is up, and it is no good. He pushed it to the left. So with 29 seconds left to go in the third quarter, McKinney misses a 37-yard field goal, and we remain 13-7.
Well, this is definitely an area where North has the clear advantages in the kickers. Not to take away from Kleinenberg, but that's just how good Blaublitz is he's one of the best kickers in the district. And so if it comes down to a battle of field goals, which let's say, McKinney North gets a touchdown here and then a field goal later, you got to like McKinney North's chances better than you like the Lions' chances.
First down and 10 for McKinney North as they take over. And this is going to be Cameron Eubanks on the reverse and makes a couple of moves and is going to be wrestled out of bounds after a hold at the 22-yard line with 20 seconds left to go in the third. McKinney North will be penalized for a hold on that one, bring that one back.
Yeah, generally, as a rule, the referee is going to be on the right side of the quarterback's back. And that play was running left to right toward the referee, and he made an easy holding call as it happened right in front of him.
Scores to pass along. Terrell over Hillcrest, 24-7. Mansfield over Paxil. This is Fossil Ridge over Keller. Richland getting beat by Haltom. These scores are going really fast.
Yeah,
they're on the scoreboard. I'm trying to catch them, and they're so fast you can't hardly see them.
I did see Capel over Irving MacArthur, 17-10.
Oh, there was a Hebron score, and I missed it.
3-0.
3-0, Hebron on top. Wow.
What's going on in Lake Dallas?
The Lake Dallas Falcons.
Well, that could be an upset.
And that's at Hebron tonight.
I know.
20 seconds left to go here in McKinney North and McKinney High. The Crosstown Showdown, 13-7. Herbal drops back to pass, looks over the middle, now looks left side, fires it down, and it is almost intercepted in and out of the hands of Ryan Packard. He was trying to hit his receiver. There's a flag on the play, trying to hit Cameron Eubanks on the far sideline. Ryan Packard might have contacted him a little bit. Let's see what it is.
Could go either way, but if I was the official, I'd probably call this in favor of McKinney North, as it looked like the receiver was trying to make separation and then basically was pushed on his back. So the greater of two evils there would be the pushing of the back, even though I think on the play that Eubanks might have pushed off a bit for separation. And it is going to be pass interference on McKinney, so I mean it could be a situation where you could throw both and make but if they're going to do both, they'd just not throw a flag. So I think what they saw is, hey, yeah, there might have been a little pushing and shoving, but pushing him on his back is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, 7 seconds left to go before the fourth quarter.
That's a big penalty.
It is a big penalty, as this will move the McKinney North offense out to the 25-yard line.
And they were facing a 1st and 20 after that holding call, and now they're facing a 1st and 5. That's a whole different set of circumstances.
We have a new first down. It'll be 1st down and 10 for McKinney North at the 25-yard line.
Is that an automatic first down?
I believe that is.
Okay.
1st down and 10. 7 seconds left to go before the fourth quarter. Shotgun formation for Herbold. He hits it, hands off to Barrett, running left side, and gets about 5 yards out to the 30-yard line, and Mr. 5-yard Barrett gets it again.
Well, and that's the thing. He goes 5 yards, and then 20.
We are at the end of the third quarter. The fourth quarter will begin in a moment. It is 13-7, McKinney on top in a classic. This is an absolute classic, and the Crosstown Showdown fans are going nuts. We'll be back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. Herbold hands off Barrett, running right side, being tackled by Casey Cooley, and finally his friends show up, J.D. Dowling and company. And as we enter the fourth quarter, McKinney leads 13-7. This is a classic. Folks, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Well, I've got an interesting tidbit for you, and that's held true in the third quarter. McKinney came in only with 7 points in the third quarter this season, whereas McKinney North with 43. And that trend held through that third quarter as McKinney North won that quarter 7-0.
3rd down and 3.5 for McKinney North, moving right to left now. Herbold wants to throw. Looks out right side, has nobody, looks over the middle, has Boblets, and it is picked off by Cates Keith at the 35. Rolls past the 50, loses his footing, and rolls down at the 42-yard line, flag down, and we'll see what that is. It might have been a block below the waist by Darian Royal, and we'll check and see. That's the only thing I can think of. I didn't see Darian Royal.
Well, that's definitely going to be a post-possession foul, so McKinney will take the interception from Keith there. Okay, an illegal block in the back on McKinney during the return, which is pretty much what you figured. But, boy, that's just a missed opportunity. And I think Herbold might have misread something because he had on his receiving side Jeff Olson on the right side there who made his cut and had some separation. But I think Herbold held the ball just a bit too long and then tried to go downfield and was hit as he threw, causing the underthrown ball.
McKinney High will take over possession in their own territory at the 44-yard line, moving left to right. 11:09 left to go in the fourth quarter. And, folks, it's going to come down to, I'm telling you what, it's going to come down to whoever wants to score last, because I'm really under the impression that McKinney North is not done here. And if they're not done, McKinney High is going to have to do something as well offensively. This is going to be a toss left side. Maxwell looking for the line of scrimmage and gets it, but he goes down immediately. Great play up front by that McKinney North defense. And on the play is Kyle Tier, Kenny Maxwell getting off the pile along with Kirsten Williams, and Kirsten Williams can bring a load.
That's the guy I've just been praising all game, having his nose tackle position. Again, that's not a position that makes plays. It's usually a position that ties up bodies to allow other people to make plays, but Williams is getting penetration time and again, and they're really going to need him to stop Maxwell.
2nd down and 9 at McKinney's own 44, moving left to right. Alcorn goes under center, I formation. Brett Anderson, the fullback, and Maxwell behind him. Toss right side, Maxwell. This is a great play by the defensive end for McKinney North, who drags him down. It was Randall Clapp who dragged him down. He shucked the defender and made the play. It was if you know anything about football and blocking and shucking defenders, and shucking offensive blockers and things, Randall Clapp just played that one absolutely perfect as he just moved his blocker out of the way to make the play.
Well, he did two things. One, he kept contained, not allowing Maxwell to bounce outside. Then two, made the tackle.
9:54 and rolling here in the fourth quarter. It is third down and long, third down and 8. The Boomerooski once again. This is the 50, and Bo Burns drags him down at the line at the first down marker. Brett Anderson has the first down, but a golden hanky is on the ground too.
Well, the one you saw is the second one. There was one prior to that one too, and that was going to be a situation where we're going to have multiple fouls. Now we'll just wait to see whose it's going to be on, because that's going to have a big impact on what's going to happen next.
Well, the Boomerooski has worked twice tonight. However, it has been called back twice tonight. And McKinney Lions faithful are on their feet. We haven't seen the official ruling yet. And
well,
here
they got
it is.
an illegal block in the back coming on McKinney, but then a personal foul face mask on McKinney North, so you got offsetting penalties here. And you know what? That Boomerooski play you're talking about, that's tough to defend.
It really is.
Because you're, as a defense, are keyed to go after the ball, and you think the ball is in the quarterback's hands, and then all of a sudden, once the defense passes Anderson, who's sitting there, then he's got an open lane. So now we'll have a 3rd and 7 again after offsetting penalties.
And Brett Anderson has run that play perfectly all night long. Of course, he really doesn't have to do anything but stand there and then turn around and run. But it has worked to perfection twice. However, it's been called back on penalties twice. High formation. Anderson just to the left of the running back Maxwell, and Alcorn in jail. Wants to tuck it up and run now, and he's met at the line of scrimmage, and he will go down. Ball is on the turf and recovered by McKinney. It was recovered by Calvin Maxwell, but the ball came out of Zane Alcorn's hands, and I thought for a moment that McKinney North was going to be in business.
I'm going to need some IVs for this, because I'm not going to have a lot left in me. Well, this game has just been something of a complexity here.
Between the fans and between the atmosphere and between the play actually on the field and great plays getting called back, it's just one thing after another. This game has been so intense. It is just almost amazing as Kenny McGowan will go back in punt return and stand at his own 21-yard line. Zane Alcorn back in punt formation. He's at his 32. Good snap. Rolls it off the right side of his foot, and it bounces past Kenny McGowan, who picks it up at the 7-yard line, tries to juke a defender, and he can't get away from Michael Peters, who traps him inside the 10-yard line, right at the 5, and a flag comes down. It's flown way up in the air, so another personal foul. And in big rivalries, all of a sudden, we're getting a lot of personal fouls.
Yeah, we talked about the friendly rivalry aspect. Let me go down to that punt return before we do that. Kenny McGowan has got to field that punt.
Kenny McGowan is also down on the field. He has not gotten up yet, and you know, that's another situation. We still need to talk to Teddy Saffo here at some point and see what Teddy has for us, as he's been roaming the sidelines and trying to keep up down there. But another injured player, and that is Kenny McGowan. And the flag comes in, and you wonder if there was something on the bottom of that pile. You hope not. You know, you hope some dirty things aren't going on. We've talked all night and stressed all night about how much of a friendly rivalry this is. But, you know, rivalries are rivalries sometimes. Sometimes some things happen out there that, you know, kids get heated up and things like that. Let's hope that Mr. Kenny McGowan's okay. He's being attended to down at about the 8-yard line in that north side of the field. He is
trying to get up, it looks like. No, he's not. He's face down.
Well, let's take a quick timeout, and we'll try to see about Mr. Kenny McGowan. We'll be back in a moment. It's 13-7. The Lions are on top. 8:19 left to go in the fourth on K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. It is a very humbling moment right now. Kenny McGowan is down at the 8-yard line. He has not moved. They have the stretcher out, and we will check and see what the situation is as soon as we learn something, but obviously we will not speculate what it will be. We have no idea, and don't know if Teddy actually has something down there. Teddy, are you able to?
I should get a little bit of information on count, and I just said we can really speculate on so much as we can really say. But right now, I mean, the mood on the field is rather somber, and I mean, as you just say, Monty, it is a very friendly rivalry, and both teams right now, both their knees. I mean, both teams, everybody's on their knees right now, and pretty much trying to hope for the best. Good news, though. I mean, people around here have been saying it's not as bad as it seems. So we'll just kind of hope for the best.
Thanks a lot, Teddy. And the McKinney Lions are huddled up down on their about their 25-yard line, and the defensive unit down there are actually on their knees, and they are saying a little prayer together. They all got together and held hands and said a little prayer, and I know that the McKinney North players are doing the same. The McKinney North players are all standing about halfway from the hash marks to the sideline and just staring out and looking towards Kenny McGowan, who is now being – I thought for a moment that he was being lifted. I think they're actually just placing the stretcher underneath him, and they're going to try to lift him up that way. Again, he was face down. An unfortunate moment in this great football game tonight, and this could put obviously this could put a damper on the evening if anything is seriously wrong with Kenny McGowan. What a great young man he is, and I've had the chance to talk to him several times, and always with a beaming smile at practice. And let's hope that young man is just fine, and we're able to go on and talk about some football, because the last thing we want to talk about is a kid being injured, and we hate to see that.
Especially injured in the way that could be what we're looking at here with the stretcher.
Anytime you see the stretcher, you get concerned.
Bad news, yeah.
But a lot of times it's better to be overcautious.
Oh yeah.
And that can happen as well. And let's hope that's what it is. Is that it's something that they're taking all the measures, or just trying to really go all out and make sure that they follow all the rules here. And hopefully that's just what they're doing, as the Lions are trying to stay loose and stretch a little bit down on their own, in between the hash and the sideline, down at the 25-yard line in the north end zone. Everyone from McKinney is just staring in awe out towards the stretcher.
That's what I'm doing. I've never seen anything like this, and I was fortunate enough in my playing time to play in a game like this, and I've never seen it up here in the booth, and I just don't know how you handle something like this.
Now they're attempting to pick Kenny McGowan up off the turf, and he obviously will get a round of applause from both sides of the field here.
Well, like I say, it's a friendly rivalry, and I guarantee you McKinney is not happy at this turn of events.
His teammates are coming out to say a word to him. They have his head strapped down. They have the rest of his body strapped down on this cart that they're wheeling him off on. The ambulance is here. It is backed up to the side over there, so we will see Kenny McGowan taken off the field tonight, and it's very unfortunate. You never want to see anything like that. I don't want to get anybody scared here, because we don't know, but I've been unfortunate enough to have seen one of these before in Sherman, and the Trinell Walker incident, and our prayers go out to Kenny McGowan. And our prayers still go out to Trinell Walker. What a great young man he is today. Unfortunately, he is not able to walk, but he is able to go out and tell his story. And
how do you get back to playing?
It's tough.
I don't know how I'm going to get back to announcing. It's not going to be easy, I tell you.
Well, they're back out on the field with 8:19 left to go in this football game. 13-7. North has the ball. Handoff Chase Barrett up the middle, and they just kind of wrestle around a little bit. Not a lot of enthusiasm on the field right now, and you can understand why, as Chase Barrett gets out across the 5 to the 8-yard line, and they will mark him down there. It'll be second down and about 7, as really that can really take the wind out of your sails, especially McKinney North being their player.
Yeah.
7:54 left to go in this game. 13-7. McKinney on top. Shotgun formation. Eric Herbal hands off Barrett once again. Right tackle. Big hole. 15, 20. Out to the 25 and barreling his way out to the 30-yard line. And McKinney North fans go nuts.
Well, they have something to go nuts for. You got Chase Barrett, and that's something you got to utilize. They have the ball at the 7-yard line there. He busted for 23, and now all of a sudden they're out of the shadow of the end zone, and Chase Barrett says, you know what? Hey, this ain't over. Don't start counting those chickens before they're hatched yet. 7:42 left on the clock. This is going to be a situation in which, okay, referee made some odd signals, but it doesn't look, it's not a penalty of any kind. He motioned toward both sidelines like there's a penalty on each side, but there's not. He was just motioning. I think we got a sideline warning telling the players to scoot back. Yeah, that's what it is. So Chase Barrett gains 23, and now McKinney North has at least a little life going on their sideline and in their huddle, which they desperately needed.
7:34 and rolling here in the fourth quarter. McKinney North down 13-7 here. On the move, running right to left. Sends a man in motion. That's Eubanks. Hands off to him, coming near side. Cuts it up 30. Now down at the 35-yard line. He was pounded hard by Brandon Ogletree right at the 35-yard line.
Well, it's a solid gain of about 5 on the play. And again, we saw it with Maxwell before the drive stalled. You can just get 5 yards, you'll move those chains.
It'll be 2nd down and 5 for McKinney North and 5-yard Chase Barrett.
I don't know if that's a nickname he'll endorse, but it's definitely an earned one.
I think you take 5 yards anytime. This
Yeah.
is Cameron Eubanks, flag down, handoff Barrett, and it'll be a false start against McKinney North. So what would have been 2nd down and 5 is now going to be 2nd down and 10.
We'll wait and see. We saw it from the umpire, which is behind the defensive line, and they usually don't see the call there. It is going to be an illegal procedure false start on McKinney North. That's usually not the guy you'll see call it. It'd be the referee or the linesman first before you'll see it from an umpire. So that's another penalty, and that puts the penalty total now for the Bulldogs up to 7 for 60 yards. They've moved backwards.
2nd down and 10 with 6:43 and rolling. McKinney North is going to hand off to Cameron Eubanks, running to the far
Good
side.
block.
Same play. Flag down, and he is down at the 35-yard line just before he got out of bounds. Cameron Eubanks ran about 40 yards, but only picked up 5. And let's check the flag.
Well, it looks like it's going to be against North from an opposite player, but you got to give a lot of credit. I think it was Buford. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't see it all, but they just laid a solid block down on McKinney. They'll make it penalty number 8 on the hold for 70 yards.
.6:33 on the clock. McKinney on top, 13-7. McKinney North backing up here as penalty after penalty after penalty takes them back to the 20-yard line, and that all the work that Chase Barrett did on that big run has pretty much been negated here as McKinney North is backed up to their 20. Eric Herbal in shotgun formation has 2 receivers either side. David Douglas to the near side. Ayton Williams out far right side. Eubanks in motion. This is Herbal back to pass. Plenty of time. Looks over across the middle. And a man is wide open. Ayton Williams caught it at the 35, down at the 33-yard line. A great catch and throw from Eric Herbal to Ayton Williams. And a first down for McKinney, and McKinney North is in business.
What do you do when you got a 2nd and 20? Throw a pass for 48 yards. Well, this ain't over. Ayton Williams is running a simple post, a deeper post than most. Normally you go 10 before slanting in, and he didn't make his slant until the 15-yard marker, and that allowed him to get behind the coverage of the safeties there, and the pass was a little underthrown, forcing him to slow up, but what a great catch.
Shotgun formation. Herbal runs the option, fakes it, runs it upside. He has got some moves, and he runs down to the 12-yard line. I say moves. I should have said blocks, because Eric Herbal doesn't have a lot of moves, but he does. He's kind of like Troy Aikman when he was younger. You know, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he can actually, if he has a lane, can make a move or two, and he does. And that's a big gainer down to the 11-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 11.
Well, believe it or not, one time Troy Aikman ran a wishbone offense at Oklahoma, and that's exactly what Herbal was doing there, running the option, found a lane, some good blocks set up for a 22-yard gain, and now they're sitting just outside the 10 at the 11, so they can't get a first down without scoring.
What a great fake that was by Herbal. Handoff Barrett, right tackle, met at the line of scrimmage. I believe he's going to get a couple of yards on there on the play before he's brought down by Justin Philpy and company. Brandon Ogletree, who always makes the tackle, it was there.
Well, not up to his 5-yard average, but it's 2 yards. This is a situation where I think you just got to keep giving it to Chase Barrett, Monty. He's been your horse.
Ogletree came into the game leading the team with 34 tackles for the Lions. And this is going to be a handoff. Barrett cuts it out right side, and he's met once again in the backfield. They're going to give him forward progress, but the Lions were right there. Justin Philpy, Adonis Graham, and J.D. Dowling there to make the stop. Chase Barrett gets up, and he's just fine. I thought for a moment he got up a little shaky, but it was Brett Davis who actually took a little bit getting off the turf. 5:02 and rolling here in the fourth. This is a classic, 13-7. McKinney North down. They're at the McKinney 9-yard line. 3rd down and 8. Oh, what a game this has been. Shotgun formation. This is going to be a handoff. No, it's going to be a throw over the middle, and it is in and out of the hands of Ayton Williams in the end zone. He was 8 yards deep in the end zone, and the ball was thrown like a bullet, and Ayton couldn't hang on. It was great defense by McKinney.
Well, situation now, you got to balance. There's less than 5 minutes. Do you go for it? In which case, it's a long way to go. The scoreboard says 8, but it's actually closer to 6. And if you kick a field goal, you're going to have to get another possession. So they're going for it, it looks like.
They will go for it here, at least trying to draw them off sides. 2 receivers to either side split way out right together. And now they're going to call a timeout. McKinney North calls a timeout with 4:43 left to go. 13-7. They're they're trailing McKinney. We'll be back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. It is 4th and 6, 4:43 left to go. McKinney North is going to go for it. 2 receivers either side. Split out wide right. This is Chase Barrett now rolling out to the right side. 3 receivers to the right side. And another timeout is called by McKinney North. They didn't like what they saw. We'll keep it here. Brandon, you pointed out something earlier in the formation on that first one before they called timeout. What'd you see?
Well, they brought out this into the split end, number 71, and that should be your first clue because that's normally in the terms of offensive linemen in the tackle range, out to a split end. That's Colby Bryant, and they did it again, and this time they split out. Keep in mind, all this is basically on the near side of the field. The ball's more toward the right hash mark, so there's not a lot of room to work with. Then they, on this time, both split out Colby Bryant along with Chase Barrett to that side onto the short side. So something's going on here on a 4th and 6. It'll be interesting to see what's going on, but I'm telling you, they've got some sort of design play because you do not split out a tackle unless there's a reason for it.
You've got a cat and mouse game going on between Sean Pratt and Todd McVeigh, and it is a great game right now. You can't get much better than this one right now. 4:43 on the clock, 13-7. McKinney in the lead. If McKinney North can somehow score here, they will actually take the lead with a PAT. It is 4th down and 6. Shotgun formation. They're still lined up to go for it. Play clock has not started yet. Chase Barrett is on the right side of Eric Herbal, who's in shotgun formation. Blake Boblitz split out wide left. Eric Herbal looking over there. Throws out in the end zone. Eubanks caught to the end zone. It is touchdown time in Texas. Cameron Eubanks hauls it in at the 3, makes a nifty move, and scores.
You got to give Pratt credit for a gutsy call. There was none more gutsier than the game on the line at 4th and 6, and then to throw a pass short. Eubanks was the 3rd option. They were initially trying to go for Blake Bloblich, who was running a 2-yard slant toward into the end zone, 2 yards and then slant, and then the second option was on the other side, and then that's when Herbal looked at Eubanks there, who caught it, still needing to get 3 yards for a first down, and was able to evade a tackle that would have stopped him short, and then finds the end zone. What a game! Woo!
Boblitz on for the all-important PAT, and this is very, very, very important. It is tied 13-13, 4:36 left to go in this game. McKinney North has just tied it on a Eric Herbal to Cameron Eubanks touchdown strike. Boblitz back. The snap. It is back. It's on the tee. It's up. And the kick is good. Can you hear the McKinney North faithful? It is 14-13. McKinney North just takes the lead for the first time. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. And oh, what a game we have tonight.
Well, I asked for an IV earlier. Can I get 2? This game is just taking it all out of me. But, boy, I'm telling you, if you didn't care about teams and just wanted to see a good one, but despite the McKinney-McGowan, we don't know yet, but this has been a great one.
4:36 left to go in this football game. McKinney North has the lead, 14-13. Again, McKinney won last year in the first ever crosstown showdown. This is number 2. And McKinney North, who had a 2-8 season last year and sitting at 3-1 this year, are going to fake they're going to fake the onside kick, and Boblets will run back. But right now, McKinney North has the lead, and they're so desperately want to win tonight. Here's the Beef O'Brady's onside kick, or actually it's a squibber. It's going to be taken by Dominic Sweeney, who actually fielded it on his knees. He tried to get up and run, and luckily there's not a flag there.
Well, you'd rather him do that, but he started up and running, so I'm sure the refs would not have called the flag, just gave him a warning. But that's important because if he doesn't field that, that's a live ball, and the deep men were too deep, and I think McKinney North would have a good chance of that. So Sweeney made a good play just by fielding that one, because on a kickoff it's a live ball, and that means North can recover it and be their possession if McKinney doesn't recover it. So good job there by Sweeney keeping his cool, and he's mad because his knee was down, but it's actually a good play.
Again, it comes down to 4 minutes, 34 seconds in this football game. Now McKinney Lions trailing 14-13. No Chris Wimbish. It is Calvin Maxwell, and Alcorn's going to roll out left side. Wanting to throw, now he's in trouble and tucks it up, takes it out to the 35-yard line where he goes down there, and McKinney North, they're going crazy on that far sideline as it looks like a holding call is going to be called against McKinney Lions, and all of a sudden the Lions fans over here who have been so loud all night long, you could hear almost a pin drop as their jaws hit the ground.
Chop block. That's a serious one. I think it's chop block. Hold on. Still some discussions. We got a personal fine. Yeah, chop block.
Again, the umpiring crew tonight, Terry Mayfield, the referee, the umpires Robert Reed, the head linesman Reggie Andrews, the line judge David Stephen, the back judge Greg Smith. They are out of the Dallas chapter, and right now they're sending the McKinney Lions way back deep in their own territory.
Well, that's not good now that McKinney's down a point. First time they've been down this game, but then they open up a drive with not a 10, but a 15-yard penalty and faced a 1st and 25 right away. Yikes.
If a team were down by 1 point, you would think the McKinney North team would have a better chance of pulling off a comeback because simply they throw the ball better than McKinney. Alcorn goes under center, tosses left side. That's Calvin Maxwell, who for a moment there had a nice seam, crossed out to the 20, to the 21-yard line. 4:07 and rolling here as it's now second down and about 20 with the ball resting at the 22-yard line.
Well, not to diminish what Maxwell's done, but I think if Wimbish is in there, he hits that hole just a bit harder, and that's a bigger gain than just 5.
What is the impact of Chris Wimbish being out of this football game?
Yeah, you wonder. You really do.
3:44 and rolling here in the fourth quarter. 14-13, McKinney North in the lead. I formation. St. Alcorn's going to fake the hand. He's in trouble. Rolls out in the pocket. Now throws it up, and it is caught by Jeff Fuller at the 32-yard line. Fuller came across and made the catch, his first catch of the year. And with 3:19, McKinney with third down is going to have to come up with something here.
Second tonight, to be technical, don't mean to contradict you there, but that was a big one. But I think if Alcorn holds it a little longer, he had a guy going down a post that was about to get behind the safety there, and that might have been a bigger play. But you go from a second and 20 to a 3rd and 10, so you cut the yardage in half.
When do you start running to the line of scrimmage instead of walking if you're McKinney? 2 receivers to the right side. I formation. Zane Alcorn drops back. Has some protection, now throws it towards the sideline. Jeff Fuller, it's over his head and out of bounds. 2:46 on the clock.
They got bailed out. North had looks like they hit the receiver out of bounds on the uncatchable ball.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't because there's a shield there, but just judging by the reaction, the linesman right there threw a flag almost immediately, and it's going to be a personal foul. Wow.
Unbelievable.
You've got to hold up in that situation.
A personal foul against McKinney North will give McKinney a first down after they were buried deep in their own side of their territory.
You just wonder if McKinney North knows how to win in a game like this. Granted, they've picked up 3 victories, but they don't have a winning tradition. And sometimes you got to start learning how to win games like this, and that means not tackling a guy when he has to leap for a ball. I mean, you've got to have the presence of mind in the secondary to know when that ball is not going to be caught and not hit the guy. You just have to.
It'll be a first down for McKinney now, just shy of midfield at the 47-yard line. Moving left to right is McKinney. McKinney North's defense has played very well tonight. The front seven has played spectacular, although Calvin Maxwell has some yardage.
126 to be exact.
He has a lot of carries as well. First down and 10.
23 to be exact.
Great job there, Brandon. 2 receivers to the right side. Michael Peters in the slot. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. The fullback for McKinney is John Scroggins, and it is Calvin Maxwell in the backfield standing at the 40-yard line.
Well, the reason we got a delay is Sean Pratt was having to talk with the official to get things straight, and the referee going and straightening things out and explaining the call.
2:46 on the clock. McKinney down by 1. Just shy of midfield. Going left to right. Alcorn fakes the hand. Drops back to pass. Throws it out right side trying to find Michael Peters, who makes the catch at the 32-yard line. Is he inbounds? No. They say he is out of bounds. And that'll bring up 2nd and 10, and the McKinney fans just give a big ugh.
Well, I was watching the foot in the high school. Unlike the pros, you only have to get 1 foot in bounds. But the thing that can hog tie a receiver is it's got to be the first foot, and that one was out. Timeout
on the field. We'll take 1, 2. 2:39 left to go in this football game. McKinney North on top, 14-13. Hold your breath on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to McKinney ISD Stadium. It is a barn burner in McKinney, Texas. 2:39 left to go, 14-13. McKinney North on top. McKinney has the ball just shy of midfield at the 47-yard line. 2nd down and 10.
Well, for some reason, McKinney North called a timeout, and that was their last one. Right now, the timeout situation, McKinney's the only one in the game with the timeout left, and they have just one.
Under center is Zane Alcorn. Rolling out right side, the Boomerooski. Once again, running up the middle is Brett Anderson, 45-40. Running out to the 35. Chased down by Bo Burns, and oh, what a tackle by Bo Burns. Burns may have saved the day for McKinney North as he caught him at the 30-yard line, one-on-one tackle, and I'm going to tell you that was a great tackle, but an even better play, as this time Brett Anderson ran that Boomerooski not to the far side. He actually took the ball and ran straight up the middle, and he had all kinds of room, and at some point McKinney North is going to have to defend the Boomerooski.
Well, the only time Alcorn rolls out is when they do that. So that's got to be a situation. You see him roll out, you keep somebody on Anderson the whole time. In fact, you know what, right now, do a prevent defense where you have somebody shadow him the whole time.
First down and 10 inside McKinney North territory now. 2:14, and oh, what a finish we may be in for. I formation, Alcorn under center. 1 receiver right, 1 receiver left. Drops back, hands off, Maxwell up the middle. Gains to the 30, maybe a couple of yards out to the 20. Well, they're going to mark him at the 30, I believe. So a gain of 1 brings up 2nd down and 9. Under 2 minutes now, 1:52. McKinney North's defense is going to have to win it for them because I don't think they're going to get the ball back here.
No, and even if they do, there's 1:45 and ticking, so they're not going to have a lot, plus no timeouts. They have to win it with their defense.
They have no timeouts. The McKinney North Bulldog defense is kind of what they've hung their hat on this offseason, and they're going to have to hang it right here. 2nd down and 9. I formation. Alcorn tosses right side. And Calvin Maxwell has a couple of yards, but he goes down, and that McKinney North side is going nuts.
Well, they should. Coming in on the tackle for the Bulldog defense was Ronald Clapp. He just smothered Maxwell from behind. He did again. Good job we saw last time. Did not let him bounce outside. Then shed his blocker and hopped on Maxwell and kept him to only a 1-yard gain. 3rd down and 8, and what a classic this crosstown showdown is. We are now officially under a minute. 57 seconds on the clock. 3rd down and 8 for McKinney Lions. Moving left to right. Inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. Toss right side. Calvin Maxwell trying to fight for the corner down at the 25-yard line. They'll probably have to burn the timeout here. He's down before he got outside of bounds.
The clock is still rolling here. 35, 34, 33.
Are they setting up for a field goal? I don't understand their call or why they'd give it to Maxwell.
It is 4th down. The ball is at the 26-yard line, in between the 26 and the 25. Clock rolling down inside 20, 18, 17, 16, 15. Both sidelines are going nuts.
They're going to call a timeout for the field goal, Monty. There's a 3-second difference, and the play clock is at now 2. Oh, boy, here we go.
6 seconds on the clock. We'll keep it right here. This is what high school football is all about. 14-13, McKinney North on top. It's going to come down to the leg of Patrick Kleinenberg.
Can I ask you a question? Was it smart wasting about 25 seconds there and plus whatever time it took to run the play? Why not try a pass here? Because you're looking at the ball being spotted at the 25, so you're looking at a 37-yarder from a guy who's missed a point after and a field goal.
You're looking at a 42-yarder.
I'm sorry, yeah, I did the math wrong.
You're looking at a 42-yard field goal from Kleinenberg.
And this mouse asks the question, will we see a fake here?
Everything is on the marbles. Everything. That's what I'm looking for. All the marbles are on this one right here. Ryan Packard will hold. The ball actually will be teed up at the 33, which means a 43-yard field goal. It's 4th down. There's 6 seconds on the clock. McKinney North leads 14-13. It all comes down to this. One team is going to be 2-0. One team is not. And that's huge in District 9-4A. Here we are. 4th down, 6 seconds left to go. 14-13. McKinney North on top. The kick is back. It's long enough. It is up, and it is no good. It was pushed to the right. McKinney North has 1 second on the clock, and they will win the second ever Crosstown Showdown, and the McKinney North crowd is going absolutely bonkers on the far sideline. A missed 43-yard field goal by Patrick Kleinenberg gives McKinney North their first win over McKinney in their school history, and they will move on to 4-1, move on to 2-0 in district, and set themselves up for a big dance if they can play in the rest of the District 9-4A like they played tonight. We may be talking about McKinney North in December.
Well, I don't want to be playing devil's advocate here, but there's still 1 second in this game. The way it's progressed, nothing is guaranteed. They still have to run a play.
McKinney North will take over at the 26-yard line with 1 second. And if you're a McKinney North Bulldog fan, that is one delicious second on that clock. As the McKinney Lions fans pile out of this MISD stadium, there's one snap that needs to be snapped here. Shotgun formation, low snap. Eric Herbal falls on it.
Telling you.
And McKinney North, you have won tonight over the McKinney Lions. And there are happy Bulldogs in North Texas. And a shocked crowd in a sea of gold on the near sideline. As I'm telling you what, this has got to be one of the best football games I have ever witnessed in my 12 years of doing this kind of thing. This is probably the absolute best.
Well, you could also make a case for the sloppiest, but in the end, it's the team that's going to make the plays at the end that matter the most and not make the plays that will kill them the most. And that happened to be McKinney North. You know, we talked about last year's defense just really struggling, and we said one of the things that the Bulldogs have been able to hang their hat on this year has been the play of their defense. They gave up no points in the second half, and if you want to make a case, they only gave up 1 touchdown because the other touchdown came on a fumble recovery.
Both teams are shaking hands at the center stripe. Woo! And oh, what a game it was on the field. And off the field right now, I hope Kenny McGowan is able to celebrate.
I wish we had news. I really do.
And I hope that young man is doing just fine, as his team tonight, maybe they were inspired a little bit by that, because right after that happened, they were able to take it down and get in the end zone and Cameron Eubanks made that move at the 3-yard line and fought for that pylon and got it. And I'm telling you what, the North Bulldogs run to the middle of the field, and they cannot absolutely wait to get their hands on that cup.
Well, McKinney has been the dominant force in football in this town for years. I mean, we were going through before the game just looking at the record of McKinney, going back to the 50s. They didn't have a lot of losing records, so McKinney North had a big mountain to climb to try to claim that title. And today was a good first step. They're now 2-0 in district, and I'm telling you, they may be something we'll come see and watch pretty hard come playoff football time.
You don't want to start talking about playoffs too early, but, being 2-0 in this district, beating McKinney that's a big step. That is a huge step in this district race. And McKinney North seems to, you would think, have a lot of advantage right now in the district. Now, since the Ron Poe era, McKinney is now 19-27 with this loss. And that, of course, is with two head coaches, Rusty Dowling and Todd McVeigh. McKinney North, their overall record now is 13-22. And their 13th may be their biggest win that they've ever had.
I'm watching right now as Teddy is just trying to get in with Pratt, but he's just so surrounded by his team right now.
It may be something that we may not even be able to capture tonight. And I would love to talk to Coach Sean Pratt. But I'm telling you, he may be surrounded by his teammates and family all night long.
Let me say this on the McKinney side. Look at their fans, how impressed. There's a couple of people who might have left, but right now everybody is standing. They're sticking with their team, and that's something you don't see a whole lot in this bandwagon era of fans in sports. But they're sticking with their team, doing the fight song, or rather the alma mater, along with the team. And they're dejected, but they're still sticking by their team, and that's great to see.
It's you're elated for, doing broadcasts for both teams. You're elated for one team because McKinney North is the underdog.
Yeah.
And you love underdogs. But also, McKinney High is the world beaters of old, and you love McKinney High because of all of the tradition. And you hate to see the tradition being, soured a little bit. You don't want to see that. So it's really tough for us up here.
Coach Pratt Teddy had him for a minute, but then people keep interrupting him, hugging him and congratulating him and shaking his hand. It's a big victory for him, but boy, you wonder how long that's going to last for him. And you remember, they still have to play district. This is why I'm before these games being at the end of the year, because this is a monumental win.
There's Teddy. He's rounding up Coach Sean Pratt.
Wow, Coach Pratt, how are you feeling on that?
Well, just what a great game. I mean, both teams played their hearts out. Got to give it to McKinney Lions. And I said it going into the game. It's the best team we were going to face. And you saw they played their hearts out. They played tough. I think that was two good football teams right there that got after it. And I'm so proud of our kids. It's hard, especially with a new program sometimes, even though we're 3-1. When you're playing a team like McKinney with the traditions, and I know because I coach there, and the traditions and their kids believe and they play hard and they get after it, and sometimes that's hard to overcome. I'm very proud of our kids tonight.
Coach, tell us about that fourth down play that won the game for you guys.
Well, Cameron Eubanks made the coaches look pretty smart is what happened. Let's face it, he made an outstanding play. McKinney was in great shape defensively, and Cameron just did an outstanding effort. I couldn't see all of it. I saw him juke one guy, and then I couldn't see it from after that. I just know it was an outstanding effort on his part.
The coach, to a touchdown showdown, and also you guys are 2-0 in district.
Well, and that's the most important part. It's 2-0, and we got to go. We got to go play Heber next week, and we got to play playoff. That's our number one goal.
Coach, thank you for your time. Enjoy your win.
Thank you.
All right, Teddy, thanks a lot. And, he did say the most important thing about this is being 2-0, but you talk about one happy head coach. Coach Sean Pratt is elated with this win, and he talked about that fourth down that Cameron Eubanks caught over. He said, Teddy asked him, hey, what was the brilliant call over there? He said, hey, I tell you what, Cameron Eubanks just made a great play. And, man, what a dejected bunch of McKinney Lions who head towards their locker room right now, and they've just got to be, D. Haggard is the last one who is on crutches. His right leg is in a cast, and that is not good news for the McKinney Lions is that's the last thing you see tonight. Not only losing this game 14-13 in the fashion that you did, but the last thing you see leaving the field is Chris Wimbish on crutches.
Yeah, and you wondered, Calvin Maxwell had a good game tonight. He did carry the ball 26 times for 131 yards.
Here's the presentation of the cup.
On behalf of the McKinney ISD Department of Athletics, we'd like to thank both schools in tonight's game for their week-long example of unity and friendly competition. Thank you to the two principals, Donna Roeder of McKinney High School and Linda Barrett of McKinney North High School. Special thank you to the coaches and teams, Todd McVeigh of McKinney High School and Sean Pratt of McKinney North High School.
They are celebrating every time they mention McKinney North.
To present the President of the McKinney North Gridiron Club, Bob Boblett. McKinney North High School Principal, Linda. Accepting the trophy on behalf of the team is head coach Sean.
The McKinney North Bulldogs
to the
are
McKinney
holding
North
up
High
the
School
cup.
Bulldogs, champion of the second annual Crosstown Showdown.
And now you hear the eruption from the Bulldog fans.
The series
And the
is now
McKinney North
tied
Bulldogs
at
are holding up the cup. They're all grouped together at the 50-yard line. The center of it actually is about the 47 on the north side. They're holding the cup above their heads, and what a moment for McKinney North. What a moment for McKinney, the city, actually, as this whole week has been nothing but phenomenal. It's like a whole week at Six Flags if you're a football fan. But the McKinney North High School, it's going to be, can you imagine being a student there on Monday morning?
Well, and the announcer said during the presentation of the cup, this the unity these two schools have had all week, and that's pretty true. The band played together at halftime. The choirs got together and sung the national anthem, and while we saw some tempers flare late in the game, I still get away with the feeling that these guys are going to go out and have dinner after the game. It's just this is a friendly rivalry, and next year it'll be the same thing. But McKinney's like, hey, well, you beat us last year. We're going to go out and try to friendly beat you this year.
Well, I hope they do go and celebrate together. You think, you got to pick up your fellow McKinneyite, and maybe they'll just head on over to Beef O'Brady's and pick up some hot wings over there. But anyway, 14-13, a great win, probably one of the greatest games I've ever seen. We thought it would come down to, the last play of the game, and you know what? It did. We talked about that in the third quarter. McKinney North wins tonight, 14-13. We're going to have highlights and stats coming up in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM.